duck down. You want to duck, just go over and get onto the bench and stay there.
You play to win the game.
My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets, Jets.
It is. Hey, what's happening, everybody? This is GreenBean. Welcome to the Thursday Thick of It. The Thursday Thick of It that almost never was, but it is. So there it is. What do you think of that? So here we are. What a wonderful, wonderful day. I saw this first, so I want to just say this. Ricky Lopez, welcome from Arequipa, Peru. Dude, if you knew how many videos I watched about Peru, Ricky, it's kind of, it's almost upsetting how much I know about Peru, and I have never been. But I'm glad to have you here. This is cool, man, right? And Jetsfan from around the world. Ricky Lopez checking in early. I saw one of our first comments was down there from New Zealand. Braden's here, and you guys are just the best, man. We're going to have a good time tonight, I promise, because even though I am still sick and in very poor spirits, bad mood, cranky, all the stuff, we still have somebody else to lean on. So let's lean on him right now and bring on our friend, our co-host, Frankie from Flatbush.
GreenBean is sick, but I'm feeling good. I'm dressed in green. I feel really good. And now I'm feeling guilty because why am I feeling so good when my friend GreenBean is feeling low and sick and not in such good health and spirits? And so now I'm feeling guilty, GreenBean.
Well, you know what, though? Here's the way it goes. Like, I'm in this group, AA, right? And they say this thing, like in a lot of meeting halls, when you walk in, it'll say, when you're feeling down, you need a meeting. When you're feeling good, the meeting needs you. So we could flip this. We could turn this frown of yours upside down by saying, you're exactly what I need right now. Yes, I'm down in the dumps. I've been sitting in the dark. I've been sleeping a lot. But now I get to, be near you, and your job is to lift me up. That's what it's going to be. I feel great. I feel great that you're feeling great.
Well, that's good to hear because it's time to gripe intelligently. It's that time of the week. It's the Thursday thin of it. It may be the most thin of it that we ever are because here we are. There's really nothing going on. Deshaun Watson is having hearings.
Right.
They're hearing the evidence, 3 days worth of hearings. Now they have to do filings. I've never seen such a more drawn out process than this. But other than that, we got nothing. But our boys are on vacation. Everybody's chilling out, working out, and we're trying to scrape up some news, scrape up some information. But soon it'll be July 4th weekend. And then after that, we'll be getting ready for training camp. But right now it's the Thursday thin of it, but we'll still try to gripe intelligently.
Yeah. Well, look, there's always stuff to gripe about, man. And you're so right. Like this is like, we're getting into another week and it's like the bottom floor. It's like, when you're driving in the Lincoln Tunnel, there's a certain portion of it where you're going down. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, almost without you noticing it, unless you're paying attention, you start going back up. You've reached low point, and that's where we're about to be in a I'd say a week or so. It's going to be like, oh my God, when does something happen? That's when you start looking at, you go back and you look at those passes from OTAs and you're like, on second thought, I didn't like where his foot was facing. I didn't like his toe. Yeah, guys, what do you think about his toe? I don't like this. It's the doldrums. But here's the silver lining, Frank. That 10 years ago, what will effectively be 4 weeks or so of downtime used to be 6 months of this. Yeah. There wasn't even an article in the papers unless something big happened, like Sheldon Richardson got caught driving around an 11-year-old at 200 miles an hour with a bunch of drugs in the car. Like if that stuff would make it through, But generally speaking, we had nothing. So now it's only a month, and we still, and look, and the bright side is we still have us. Like, us diehards are out here, and we're still deconstructing stuff. We're still looking. We lost two of our very, very important news sources this week, so we can talk about those guys as well. But it's like, now we have a bunch of people that, and I wouldn't say we're creating news. We're not creating news, but we're definitely creating things, topics of discussion. And that is the saving grace of this whole thing. You know, we don't have 6 months of downtime where when you come back, you know, you don't even remember who's on your team. Like, well, oh yeah, that guy, Roger Vick, you know? So it's better than that. What's up, Paul Boy Green? Esden popping in? Yeah, he's hanging out. He says, let's just say, he says, let me see if I can hear me. Let me see. Ah, there he goes. I'm not sure what that means. But it's always nice to have Boy Green here. And yeah, man, look, we're gonna talk about all kinds of stuff. We have a Frankie's Facts for you guys tonight, which is going to be fun because we haven't done that in a little while. Frankie, what happened to Frankie's Facts? Have you been factless, or have I just forgotten?
Yeah, I haven't been. You know, sometimes I'm into the data, and sometimes I'm into the film. I'll tell you this. You know what else is nice at this point of the year? NFL Game Pass. You know, if you guys subscribe to NFL Game Pass, you can watch all the games all the way back to 2012. And then the Super Bowls, they have all the way back. I rewatched the 2009 Super Bowl recently. Why? I don't know. Right. What else am I going to do? I wanted
2009. Who was that? 2009.
The Steelers against somebody, and I was watching the Steelers.
Oh, that was the one we were supposed to be in, wasn't it? That was 2010. Oh, it's gross. It's all so gross.
But the reason, because I've been into this Pivot podcast, and Ryan Clark is one of the hosts, and they started talking about, the time they went to the Super Bowl and Coach Tomlin and Coach. The reason I watched it is because Coach Tomlin said he had his older brother on the sideline, and he needed his older brother to be there to just kind of like hit him at certain points in time. He just needed his older brother to kind of just give him a reality check and be like, hey, you're Coach Tomlin. Like, it was weird. Like,
yeah.
And so I said, I want to go see if I can spot this older brother on the sideline.
Could you do it? Could you find him?
No, I was looking, but the cameras weren't. I was like, maybe that's him. That could be, but I don't know. But anyway, it was fun to go back and watch those games, and and you can go back and I was watching recently the Jaguars Jets game from last year. I've watched that game maybe more than any other. I must have watched
more than you'd like to admit, huh?
Yeah, because I will be doing a video on Jason Pinnock, and I was watching him, and because they also have the all 22 coaches film, which is also great. So I'd highly recommend to anyone. Yeah, it's the best. Check it out. And you can also watch. It's a little depressing because you can watch these football games in 40 minutes, and it makes you realize, wait a minute, I spend 3 hours of my life watching a football game that takes 40 minutes to play.
That's it.
What in the world? 2 hours and 20 minutes of commercials? What is going on?
Yeah, it's real. Well, there's a lot of that shit. There's the play clock. You know what I mean? There's the time in between and all that. Right. It's funny, man. Like, I've actually we did a breakdown years ago before we had like so many systems out there. Like a couple friends of mine, we actually did the math, if you can believe this. I also did a lot of weed, so it made it okay. But we did the math on exactly how much they're actually playing in the game. And like you said, we came up with, it was a little over 40 something. It was like 43 minutes of that's how much time they actually played. And when you start breaking it down, okay, well, Quinnen Williams gets 40 plays. It's like all these guys, we talk about their impact, and it's like you look at a guy and he played 18 minutes of football. That's it. It's like,
it's kind of crazy.
It really is. It's a whole different perspective. And when you look at this stuff, man, it's like you said, there's a lot of fluff, there's a lot of commercials, and then there's the play clock and all that. There's timeouts. There's all kinds of stuff that goes into it. But the actual hike to tackle is seconds. Seconds. I had a conversation. It was a long time ago. I had a friend. He's a real big soccer head. And his team was Milan out there in Italy, and I don't know which league or how it breaks down. And forgive me, I just don't have that information. But he was so passionate. And I would say, why don't you watch like, football? I mean, America, we're here, we're in New Jersey. Why are you such a Milan fan? Like, what is, and he said, you know what I hate about football is that there's never anything going on. You just stare at a bunch of guys getting ready, and then they do something for a second, and then they get ready for 5 minutes. And I was like, I remember that. I was like, get out of here. So much action and excitement. And he's like, no. Soccer, dude, they never stop. The ball goes out, they have to reset it and things like that, but it never stops. They're running 100 yards back and forth the whole time. And I got a different perspective on it. I was like, wait a second. We really don't watch much in football. It's kind of, it's still exciting. Clearly, I love it. But it's like when you look at it through a certain lens, it can be a whole different thing, huh, Frankie?
Well, and plus in soccer, they never score. So that would be my counter argument. Could we have some scoring? Could they
running around?
Yeah, running around. What is this, ballet? Like, let's have some scoring. And then the other thing too, what makes up for that though, those breaks, other than the commercial breaks, I noticed last year when I started charting the games, the delays in between the plays are great for charting the games, because I'm sitting there, recording all the stuff on my little sheet, and it gives me enough time to do that. And then I'm like, okay, ready for the next play. And then they're like, okay, hike.
Yeah.
So, if you do it that way, it's pretty good. So charting games also are highly recommended.
Yeah, charting games. I started doing that a little bit. It's just, you realize your strengths and weaknesses, right, Frankie? Like you're looking at things like, for a guy like you who would rather be in an Excel spreadsheet than anywhere else in the world. I mean, the first 6 months of your channel,
it was all Excel.
It was all Excel. It's like, ooh, the best, my favorite place in the world. So you slide right into that. For me, it's like, it almost feels like moving heavy bricks between plays, like move the block over. Like that's how it feels to me. It's so, I don't think that way. But one thing I will second you on. So my point is, I'm glad to have you guys out there doing that stuff, because I love consuming that, but I don't have the capacity to really do it very well. But I discovered the Game Pass, the All 22 film, coaches film as it's called on Game Pass, 3 years ago. And I think it might not have been that much longer than that we all had access to. It was 3 years ago. And when I first realized, like, I was watching the compressed games, just like you said, and then one day I saw a coach's film and I realized, holy cow, I have access to this stuff. Like, this is how everybody's doing that. Like, they're breaking down plays. Like, dude, it blew my mind. I watched so much coaches film over the past 3 years. Like, this year has been a little bit less for whatever the reason. But last year it was like, I was between anything I did, I was watching all 22 film. If I wanted to know about a player, I didn't listen to anybody. I went and watched all 22. I would pick a few games randomly and I'd watch them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you see so much. You see
one guy out and you just keep your eye on him. And there's no, obviously it's from way up there. Yeah. And there's no announcing. So that you don't have to listen to somebody's opinion of, oh, there was a wobbly pass. Wobbly pass? What are you talking about? He got rid of it like a lightning bolt and hit him between two guys, and wobbly pass. Shut the hell up. You don't have any of that. You can make your own opinions.
Exactly. And like you've done numerous times, as have I, it's like, you listen to the conception of the game from some guy who if you noticed in the game, blah, 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 and they tell you the story, and then you go, okay, good. That sounds like a negative story. Just as an example, that doesn't sound good. And then you go and you watch it yourself. And like you said, there's no biases. There's no, like, we're looking at the ball. And a guy that Frankie and I both like is Pat Kerwin, who years ago put out a book, Take Your Eye Off the Ball, like how to actually watch football. And before that, I didn't realize how, my propensity to just follow the ball around. You know what I mean? I didn't even know I was just watching football. Now, every now and then I would focus on a guy, a lineman. I like to watch my offensive linemen. I like to watch my defensive ends, my linebackers. So I would do that, as well, but nowhere near as much as I thought I did. But like learning how to do that. And then when you watch all 22 film and you actually focus on a guy, so you hear this story in Newsweek or Daily News or whatever, And then you watch it yourself and you're like, they're talking about 2 plays. The guy played, 41 plays or whatever it is. And they're talking about 2 bad plays. The rest of the plays he did perfect. He did his job perfectly. Like things like that. And that's when I started to realize, man, these guys, like, getting my news from these fucking blowhards is first of all, it's not good for my health because I think everything sucks. They make me think everything is but in addition to that, it's not for me, it wasn't a fun way for me to ingest this stuff. I'd rather watch the players and see what's really going on. And the cool thing is, what is Game Pass? $50 a year, Frankie? Something like that? You remember what it is?
No, it's more than that. It's a couple hundred. It's pretty expensive, but it's worth it, I would say.
It's worth it, yeah.
Because even during the season, you can watch all the games of the week. In 40 minutes, once it comes out, whenever it is, Tuesday, Wednesday, you could watch every single game in 40 minutes. I mean, if you had to do it in 3 hours, you couldn't do that. But in 40 minutes, you can, and it gives you such a better perspective too. When you watch these other teams, and you might focus on, like, if I'm focusing on Jason Pinnock right now, so I got to watch, Derwin James, and I got to watch Tyrann Mathieu, and I got to watch Marcus Williams, and I got to watch these other teams, and you see how they do. And it puts in perspective your team and your guy that you're looking at. Because how are you going to know what's good unless you watch Marcus Williams or Tyrann Mathieu or Derwin James or one of these other guys? You got to know what good is, but to know, okay, well, how far away is Pinnock than that? How far away is, Jordan Whitehead than that? And so you can watch these other teams, and sometimes it's just fun to watch these games too, because there's fun games going on all the time that don't involve the Jets. I hate to tell you, some of these games that other teams play are really fun to watch.
Yeah.
And especially in 40 minutes. And you can watch the playoffs. I mean, those playoff games last year were wild. The freaking Buffalo Bills had the game won with 13 seconds to go. 3 seconds. We got this. No way we're going to lose. Impossible. Wait, what? Patrick Mahomes did what? Excuse me?
Yeah.
What just happened here? Imagine. So it's like, imagine that was us. We had 13 seconds.
It'd be right. Well, you know what's funny? I was during that game. I was still on the road, right? So my son and I had to pick something up at Walmart. I got the RV outside, the whole thing, and I put the game on and I watched that last touchdown and I shut it off. I said, this is bullshit. Like, I just didn't want to, I don't want to watch the Bills win. And it wasn't until, like, I don't know, 2 hours later, I just saw like an alert on my phone or something. It said, Patrick Mahomes talks about the winning play. And I was like, what? Like, I shut it off in anger, in a fit of anger. But yeah, but your point is very accurate to anybody who likes this stuff. Now, a lot of us don't really want to do the work, which is fine. You want to, like I said, with charting, I'd rather ingest and formulate my opinions on the work of others in that capacity. But there's lots of places where I like to look myself, like Frankie was just saying with looking at Jason Pinnock. Well, you think, wow, Jason Pinnock looks good or bad. And then you go, let me see some of his peers. And you go watch some guys and you go, holy shit, that guy's like that. So that guy knows what he's doing, or vice versa. And you can really start to get this well-rounded viewpoint. And then when you hear people talk, like once you have knowledge and you hear people without knowledge try to pretend they have it, it becomes a whole different thing. And you can have an opinion that's not based in emotions, which for a long time, I'll admit my NFL opinions were based in emotions. That's all it was. I didn't have access to this stuff. So I just, that guy sucks. I hate him, like that kind of stuff. And it's really been a fun thing. And again, I'll reiterate the Pat Kerwin book. If anybody's out there, Frankie does audiobooks as well. And I was always so upset that Pat Kerwin never did an audiobook. I thought he would have did such a great job being his own narrator. And I haven't been able to find that because I wanted to re-listen to it recently. But if anybody who hasn't listened to that first one, it is exceptional. What a mind shift that book is. But he came out recently with Take Your Eye Off the Ball 2. Did you read that one, Frankie? I have not gotten to that one yet.
That's the one I got. And that one, GreenBean, comes with a DVD. It's even better than an audiobook because Kerwin stands up there at the board and shows you stuff. I mean, it's phenomenal. I would recommend it to anyone. That really got me going with the charting and understanding basic concepts, understanding the difference between a 4-3 and a 3-4. Why are if you don't understand the difference between a 3-4 and a 4-3 in terms of what the defensive linemen are asked to do, then you won't understand things that Coach Olbrich is saying. Why is Olbrich and Saleh saying we're a hair on fire attack defense? What the heck does that mean?
Right.
Well, if you listen to Kerwin explain it to you, then you'll get it. Then that's how I got it. He's the one who told me the 3-4, you're in a read defense. You hold up the offensive lineman and you peek in the backfield, then you look and you make a decision. Do I go left or do I go right? And that's a difference. We don't do that. We just take one gap and go.
Yeah.
And that's where I got him for. So this basic stuff, but he explains it really well. And it's lots and lots of stuff. So I would highly recommend that. It really changes your perspective on the game. And I think that's what has made this last season and the last, as I've been following the Jets closer than I ever have in my life because of all this stuff, is because of that book, because it really got me knowing what to look for. It's like, oh, there is a lot going on here. There really is a lot going on a football field that if you don't know what to look for, you don't really understand it. But it's fascinating.
Well, it really, really is. And that's when you start to realize, like when we hire a coach, right? You have a coach and your coach practices with your team and you draft guys and you bring them in. Once you kind of at least have an idea of how much is involved here and you start to watch your plays, you start to watch the development of your particular offense and you see right away, this is not fooling anybody. Like the defense knows, like they can see it, right? And that's when you can, some people are like, nah, you got to give them a chance or whatever it is. There are all kinds of asides and opinions, but sometimes you can actually see this coach has no business. He doesn't belong in this realm. Yes, he's probably great high school, great college, but against Bill Belichick and Sean McVay, like he's getting Andy Reid, like he's getting swallowed. He doesn't belong here. We're never gonna win. And that not only applies to the Jets. I mean, it can apply to so many coaches. You can see it sometimes, like, holy shit, dude, they are literally playing with us. Like you can watch the development. Now, I'm not a coach. I don't pretend to be. I have coached, but it was like 9, 10, and 11-year-olds. I'm good in that realm, man. They listen to me, Frankie. But I never pretend to have that acumen. That's not. I'm not that. But I do understand. It's like when they say I can understand it, but I don't speak the language. You know what I mean? Like it's like one of those things. But you can see sometimes once you realize how much is entailed, and when you watch a guy like a LaFleur, how many times our guys are open. Like he is able to scheme our guys and fool the defense often. We had a lot of issues last year. A lot of it predicated on, lack of talent on the offensive line, the lack of understanding schematically, whether it be on the offensive line or otherwise. You had rookie play calling, you had rookie quarterback, you had all these drops, all this stuff was going on. But when you look at it from that perspective, the offensive coordinator that we have right now looks to be like someone who can hang at this level. Like he looks like he can actually get his guys, if they have the talent to run what he's doing, which I think we do. He looks like somebody who has the chops to maybe give us an offense that we have not had in a long time. Guys like Gase, like the 3 offensive coordinators that Todd Bowles brought in, even though I liked Shane Gailey as far as his career. The truth is that like we haven't had a really good offensive mind here in a long time, based on what the stuff that you're talking about with all the intricacies involved. Dude, these guys got to know their stuff and they have to be able to adjust mid-swing. Holy shit, he knows what I'm doing. I have to figure something else out. They can't just stay with it. You know what I mean? How many times have we seen that? Like Adam Gase, like it's not working. The A gap, they know you're going to run there. Can we please run somewhere else? We'll get it, And it's interesting when you're able to watch it like that,
Well, and the other thing is that in the West Coast offense, you can fold, 4 different plays into one. And that means, and that's great because it means you have 4 less pages in the playbook. But it also means that the receiver, for example, has to make a choice and he has one of 4 things he can do. And you have to have receivers who make the right choice based on their reads and has to be in sync with Zach Wilson sitting there trying to figure out, okay, is he going to go left, right, down the middle? Where is he going? And all of that has to be synced up. So, it speaks to, and he has to have the time. So we have to have the offensive line. We have to have tight ends, which we also improved. You got to have wide receivers. So we got Garrett Wilson. So all these things, and year 2 of Wilson reading things more quickly. All these things should, when you combine them with the scheme and LaFleur's coaching, should result in a better outcome, we would hope.
Yeah. Well, and can you imagine, Frankie, like, let's say, we hear this all the time. We hear guys that are, they have a high football IQ. We hear that term all the time, and we value it, for obvious reasons. The guy that actually understands what's going on around him is a value, right? Is a value. But can you imagine, like, so a guy has a very high football IQ, and he's listening to coaches that don't have, maybe, he identifies somewhere in the middle there, this isn't going to work, and it doesn't work. But they don't have they're not the coach, they're the player, and you only have your role, you got to do your job, and maybe it'll work out, but it doesn't work. You think it could be frustrating for these players that when they identify kind of early on, this coach isn't as good as other coaches I've had. Like, they come here, they sign as a free agent, or whatever, and they recognize, like, holy shit, I'm going to be here 2 years.
And these people have reputations too. Like, one of the reasons Lakin came here is because of John Benton. He wanted to be with John Benton. He loves John Benton. He's a great offensive line coach. One of the reasons that Jordan Whitehead is here is because he called up Robert Saleh and he said, Coach, your defense kind of stunk last year. I'm thinking about coming there, but you got to tell me how are we going to fix this? And he had a conversation with Coach Saleh, and 5 minutes after hanging up the phone, he said, where's my contract? Let me sign. I'm going. And so that's the kind of thing where it's important to have these people for many, many reasons, that among them, because the players want to play for good coach. I mean, they always say that the best players want to be coached hard and coached well. They don't want to be just told, go out there and do whatever. No, the best players want the best coaching. They want to be coached hard and coached well. And so you want the best players. Well, it helps to have some really good coaches around to get them here. And because that's who they want to be around.
Yeah. I mean, think about that. And then, like, what has our experience here been for the past 10 years or so? In large part, it's been a place for guys to get their last contract, settle in, and die. You know what I mean? It's like the elephant graveyard. You know what I mean? It's like where you go, they give them a last contract. Here, come on, we'll feed you over here. Here's your last meal. And they just settle in, and they don't play very hard. And those guys are looking for like when they're at that phase of their career. I like to bring up Tremaine Johnson whenever this subject comes up. He was a guy, he was done. You know what I mean? He was just kind of done playing football. He came here, got a big contract, didn't play all that hard. And he liked it. Hey, they're not pushing me. But like you said, Frankie, guys that want to be great. And a lot of the players that I feel like we've brought on have that mindset. Elijah Moore comes to mind, Michael Carter, AVT, Zach Wilson, all these young players. Garrett Wilson's another one. They have that mindset about them, or that look about them, that they want to be good. They want to be coached hard. They want to be a part of a system that's going to be successful, and they'll do their part. And like you said, that's why coaches like Bill Parcells were so successful. Like, from the naked eye, he's screaming at these guys, he's belittling them. Yeah, get out of here, you fuck. He's doing all that. But at the end of the day, they know this guy knows what he's talking about. If I listen to him, same thing with Coach Westhoff. He's got 30 years of success behind him. I might not agree, but if I can get past my own thoughts and listen to this guy, more than likely I'm going to succeed. So yes, I will weather those insults, those moments, and I'll just keep coming, and they're going to put me in a position to succeed. And that has happened for so many players. And hopefully that's what we have now. Like, you don't have to be the belittling type, but to be intense, an intense coaching regime, and get these guys to play harder. If it starts to work, then the really great players want to come there and play in that system. And then everything can change just like that. We don't have, the place where players go to die anymore. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's like who were we going to get to come here? Le'Veon Bell, we were bidding against ourselves. because no one else was really lining up to sign up Le'Veon Bell, but we were, because he was a big name and he could come here and maybe we could be optimistic for 5 minutes. But yeah, I mean, these guys, they really do want to do that. And, we really want a team that's player led anyway, for the most part. I mean, when you have player leaders on your team, that everybody respects, and when they tell you, I mean, the coaches can tell you all day long, but when Carl Lawson tells you, hey, maybe you should move over 6 inches, you listen right away. There's no, because your peers are a whole different story than your coaches. You listen to your coaches too, but you want those player leaders, and those player leaders want to be coached by really good coaches who know what they're talking about. I mean, one of my favorite quotes from Coach Westhoff, we didn't even talk about this with him, but when he was on Hard Knocks, he was like, I will trade you for a day off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And players knew what he was talking about. And, it's fine. Even though he's being harsh with them, it's totally fine, because he's a successful coach and they know that and they're appreciative.
Yeah. And it works. And this is a sport of men. It's intelligence has crept in, like, analytics and all that stuff. And that all has its place. At the end of the day, this is a game. This is a bunch of abnormally sized men getting into a scenario where they are on the opposing side of equally strong, abnormally large men. And you're going to have to figure out a way to get that little brown ball where they don't want it to go. And when you have guys that can do that, it's like leader of men, being able to be that leader of men and getting those 11 guys to believe in the exact same goal, the exact same, objective for that 7 seconds of football that we've just identified as all we really watch. If we can get them to agree for those 7 seconds, then we have something, Braden from New Zealand, our good buddy, checking in. He says he wants to know this, Frankie. I'll bounce this to you. I have my thoughts, but is Fant really a lot worse at right tackle than left tackle, or was it because he was playing next to Greg Van Roten at right tackle opposed to ABT at left tackle? What do you think? Because, I think, just for some context, there are people saying that, if you look clearly, Fant's statistics on the left side were better than he was at the right side. So there's that. There are people saying that the Jets are more than likely going to just pencil George Fant in at left tackle because he doesn't play well at right tackle, and Becton might be able to be better over there and all that stuff. So what do you think about this? You think that it has anything to do with Greg Van Roten, or is it just George Fant is better at left tackle?
Well, I think it's hard to say.
Is Frankie there? Did I lose you? Is that
Sorry.
me?
I think that was you. Can you hear me?
I saw. I think that was you, Frankie. Don't fucking put that on me.
I didn't get any notifications.
Who was it, Jeremy? 1 for Frankie, 2 for me.
All right.
1 for Frankie. Okay.
Yeah. So I think what happened is that George Fant had a career year last year at left tackle. Now, that could just be because George Fant is getting better. Don't forget, George Fant is a late bloomer. He went from playing basketball at Western Kentucky or whatever he was to becoming a tight end, to becoming an offensive lineman. So he has had to develop. And it could be that he just finally has developed into a tackle now, and especially a good pass blocking tackle. And just so happened he played left tackle last year, and he just happened to develop at that time.
Right.
And so I think that's part of it. But don't forget that, between GVR and AVT, AVT, it's not like AVT was Zach Martin last year. AVT was good. He's better than GVR. He was okay. He was good. We think he has a lot of potential. He's better than GVR. But it's not like he was Zach Martin and going to make everybody better around him. So I just think, for me, it just so happened that George Fant's development occurred when he happened to be starting at left tackle. And so the question now is, do you want to disrupt that development or put Mackay over on the right, where he did play in college also? So why not put Mackay on the right? You could go either way. We'll see what they do.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting question. Now I do agree with Frankie. I don't know how much the Greg Van Roten impact had, at least on numbers, over there. But I will say that, don't forget, last year was a brand new offensive line scheme, brand new coaches. and everything, you know, as opposed to what the hell, Pollock and Frazier the year before, who oddly enough went back to the Bengals and they won a Super Bowl, or at least Pollock did anyway. So, you know, I'm not saying one is necessarily better than the other, but George Fant, as well as most of the offensive line, they had their troubles early on. You know, I mean, they kind of settled in together. And when you have a kind of a revolving door at offensive line in particular, it doesn't help the unit. You know, the unit, they need to like really understand what's next to them. They have to function as one, 5 guys functioning as one. And then you add tight ends and running backs to that mix and all the blocking schemes and everything. It can look very, very shaky. Not only because of one guy, but like, you know, just while you get that understanding of the schematics in your head, you know. So I think it's really interesting to label Fant anything right now. He did have a career year, like Frankie just said, and that's great. I would say that if I just had to guess who has the higher ceiling, who has the more potential to be like a dominant left tackle, I would think it's Mekhi Becton. I don't know. But that's a good point you raise with, you know, hey, we had this guy developing in our system for a year. He played lights out. So why shake that up when you can, you know, and when you got a Becton over here and it's like shaking up a little bit more than if you just put Mekhi in at the right side. I could see that logic. At the same time, I still think left tackle, especially for a right-handed quarterback, is the more valuable of the two positions. If you got to have a dominant guy at one, I would like to see him at left tackle. That's my preference. But anyway, I think it's going to be interesting to see. I wonder how long they're going to drag this out. You know, my thoughts are that they probably are going to give it a week or two and just make the decision and go with it. So this way they can develop whatever they want to develop on either side, as opposed to this, you know, media inspiring competition every single day and all the potential negative press and all the bullshit. Just pick your guys, who's going to play what, and move forward. That's what I think they should probably do, whatever way that works out.
Yeah, and I will say one thing. You know that I'm the president of the Coach Saleh fan club, but one thing I do nitpick about him from last year was, why didn't he just tell us who's starting where? Like, we, you know, if it's Morgan Moses, it's Morgan Moses. If it's George Fant, it's George Fant. And then the other one was, I think, Eccles and Dunn or whatever it was. And then they say, well, I'll tell you on Saturday. I'll tell you on just tell us who it is. Like, what is that all about?
Well,
you know, that's one thing I didn't like last year, and I hope that they've learned from that.
Me too. Well, this is the thing, like, you know, and I say this in numerous instances, Frankie, but you're bringing up one that I think it applies to, which is we have a rookie head coach. Okay. He doesn't know. He's never done this before. He's been a defensive coordinator. That's all well and good. He's been a quality control. He's been a linebackers coach. He's done all that, but making the decision, he's got all sorts of ideas on what's going to be beneficial and not beneficial and all that. And I think we saw a lot of that last year. Look, we saw him stubbornly not putting LaFleur in the booth. You know what I mean? LaFleur has gone on record saying if I had my preference, I'd be in the booth. Zach Wilson asked for him to be on the sideline, so he did that. So there's a lot of learning going on, and I think that we like to put a lot of pressure on these guys to already know things that they don't know. The same thing that applies with the general manager. Like, yes, they're groomed to understand and succeed at this position, but they still never had the final say. Final say comes with a whole different mess of stress and thought process. It's so stressful, in fact, that a lot of people cannot succeed there. They could know everything there is to know about a scenario, whether it's GM, coaching, whatever, but the minute they have to be the guy making the decision, they flounder, they crack under the pressure. That happens to a lot of guys. So I think with Saleh in that instance, I felt the same way you did. Dude, what the hell does who's starting at right tackle matter as far as strategically? You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. But we waited till the final moments before the game, and then we announced it would be Morgan Moses, or no, it was George Fant over Morgan Moses, and then Becton got hurt, and the whole thing was through the down the toilet anyway. But it's interesting. I think that Saleh, I mean, we're watching a guy learn on the job. Now there's lots of redeeming qualities. He has some of those innate, leadership qualities that the last two coaches we had did not have. I mean, let's call it what it is. Todd Bowles and Adam Gase, no matter what aspects about them that you may like, which I find difficult to find, whatever aspects of them that you like, it's hard to dig up their leadership qualities and put them out front, right? It's just hard to do. So, Robert Saleh has a lot of that. That's hard to teach. Like, I don't know if you could teach that stuff, how to be a true leader. So he has that, but I think a lot of these weird decisions, I still think a lot of the aspects that he chose to employ where coaching players is concerned were head scratchers too. So we're watching a guy. That's why it's like, if he stays stubborn, with things that aren't working, if he stays stuck, then we have a problem. If he's able to learn and go, well, that was kind of silly, let's not do that again. And we have seen some of that, Frankie, which is he's running a different training camp, or at least OTAs, than he ran last year. It was more intense last year. And why did he do it this year? To mitigate injuries. Yeah. So he's learning. The way that I came in last year didn't have the results that I had hoped. So I'm going to try this now. That to me is acceptable. You can make mistakes. Everybody's going to make them. You're going to make them, especially first time in a job. It's when you marry yourself to bad decisions that I think the concern really should come in. Saleh, probably, it looks to me like a guy who's learning from those mistakes. So I don't think we'll see any of that stuff this year. Who's starting? Which rookie cornerback is starting? You know what I mean? Nobody cares.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, guess what? It's going to be Sauce. He's going to be starting. It's not going to be Brandon Eccles. Okay. It's going to be Sauce Gardner. But even though I'm the president of Coach Saleh fan club, I'm watching him. If he keeps doing this stupid stuff, I'll do videos about it and tell you, hey, what the hell's going on with Saleh's thought process here? The decision making, what is going on? Right. And then if he continues, making, keeps making those mistakes, I'm gonna say so. I'm not gonna be blinded, but I do think he's a good leader of men, and that is something that's hard to teach. I do think players want to play for him. We saw that with Jordan Whitehead. We saw it with Nathan Shepard. We may not like Nathan Shepard, but unfortunately, Nathan Shepard took less money to be here. That says something about Saleh. And he loves Shepard for whatever the reason. And Shepard had better offers from other teams, apparently, and he didn't take them. He stayed here for less. So it says a lot.
Really interesting. I know. I wonder what Nathan Shepard's offers really were. Like, it's a better offer. It's really, what is it? It's $100 more.
50 cents. They'll give you a parking spot. They'll give you.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing too. Like, I think, we got to give these coaches time to develop their guys. You know what I mean? Like, which guys are their guys? Like, so there's a guy at the lower end, right? A lower rung, like a Nathan Shepard. A lot of Jets fans wrote him off. The truth is Nathan Shepard started in a deficit with us because that was the pick. We were supposed to give Sam Darnold something. Whether it was protection, whether it was a weapon, it could have been anything. And we gave him a defensive tackle from a 26-year-old defensive tackle from Tulane. So a lot of Jets fans.
There you go, Sammy. How can you argue? There you go, Sam, buddy.
I was gonna give you something, but I couldn't pass on Nathan. I couldn't do it.
With this guy, we're gonna have a defense. Don't you want a defense, Sammy?
Quarterback's best friend.
Yeah,
right. So I think, and then look, the truth is that he did have a good 2019 was really good. He had 5 sacks. He looked like a different player, but then since he's kind of settled back into that mediocrity level. But if he's the one working his ass off, and you bring it up all the time, Saleh calls him the king of strain. Yeah. That's the kind of stuff that, coaches are looking for. Which guy is going to bend over backwards for me as their coach? Which guys are going to jump on board no matter where I'm going? They're going to jump in and do whatever I ask right away. And when they do that, a coach could take that little bit of personal interest in them, and maybe they can become something like those little pet projects. Saleh's pet projects before, if I remember correctly, are Wagner and Bobby Wagner and
You could say Jimmy Ward. I mean, maybe
yeah.
Ward took a long time to develop. Now, Shepard, I will give him this much. He played better at the end of the year. So there's that. Now, he couldn't have played much worse. He was rated like one of the worst defensive linemen in football for a long time. But then the last few weeks, he played a little better. So maybe he could be something. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, it'd be nice. Be nice
It
if
would.
he was.
It would be nice. And look, we have this interesting line rotation coming up. I mean, look, I think that sadly to say, and I sincerely hope this is not the case, but more than likely injuries are going to happen. I mean, we're going to see some of this herd thinned out because of that. And then certain guys will make the practice squad or be on short-term IR. There's going to be all sorts of stuff that comes in. And the truth is, I would rather start that process in a position of abundance rather than a position of dependence.
Yeah,
like
I think that's what they're doing. Yeah.
Right. Doesn't it? And from that angle, it makes sense, man.
They said that pick, the Michael Clemens pick. I mean, I was looking at this the other day. I think if Nick Cross or Kirby Joseph were available at the Michael Clemens pick, we would have taken them, but they weren't. They were gone. And I think they said, well, we don't like any of these other safeties that much. They were not rated that well in our system. Let's go super depth at defensive end because we cannot afford, to be lacking there under any circumstances. They saw that last year and they said, we'll just be super deep there. And if we got to trade somebody, okay, if we have to, but let's go for super depth. And that's the only way to make sense of that Michael Clemens pick.
Yeah.
From a depth perspective.
Yeah, because I got to say, I mean, as much as, look, we have all fallen deeply, deeply in love with Michael Clemens.
Yeah.
But the truth is that I was really hoping for a linebacker there, a safety there. There was still guys on the board that I liked. But if Michael Clemens is the better player too, like if they just had him rated higher, not a bad idea, like you're saying, to just overstock the cupboards and make sure you have it. If I need to make a tough decision later, that's fine. But I'd rather make those decisions than having to fucking trade 6th-round picks for guys like Shaq Lawson in the middle of training camp and that sort of stuff. So
I mean, we had a guy named Freedom playing for us at the end of the year. Anybody remember that? Freedom? We had a gentleman named Freedom Magalumbadum something playing for us on our team, getting snaps on the field, not even on the bench. He was playing.
Oh my God. And that's how it goes. Frankie, we got a couple super chats coming in on the Thursday thin of it. It hasn't only been thin in our content. It's been thin with people feeling the need to have their questions answered. They're just hanging out now. So Daniel Faust checking in. Thank you for the super chat, Daniel. He says, Daniel Faust, scale 1 to 10. What is GreenBean and Frankie's hope that Zach will become franchise quarterback in the next 5 years? Frankie, let me answer this one first because I'm going to make it short and sweet. You guys know, and by short and sweet, it means I have to give you a whole history lesson first.
You are the Jets historian. You are the Jets historian after all, GreenBean.
Right, yeah. I just caught myself. I was like, all right, I'll make this short and sweet. So back in 2016, excuse me. So what I will say, Daniel, is I think Zach Wilson has everything that we could possibly want in a quarterback, right? He's got super arm strength. His accuracy is there. He can make every throw on the field. He has elite escapability, and he's got the work ethic that is so strong that they actually encourage him to give himself a break. Give your mental side a break. The GM and coaches, they chose him number 2 overall. So we have like security, at least for a little while, right? We have a couple years that he doesn't have to be in fear of his job. Like, even though Jets fans were calling for his fucking head last year, I think that our regime is going to give him 3-4 years. I think that, depending if he just completely implodes. But I would say that there is a 85% chance that Zach Wilson is going to be our franchise quarterback. Now, does that mean he'll throw for 4,500 every year? Maybe not. But I think that we're going to forge into the next decade with Zach Wilson at the helm for more of that than we're used to, and makes me happy, man. So what do you think, Frankie? What do you, the Daniel Faust scale, 1 to 10? So I guess I'd say 8. Yeah.
So Daniel, thank you for the super chat. Daniel's also a contributor to my channel as well. So Daniel, thank you for all the contributions you've made to my channel over the past few months. So if you're asking about what is my hope, well, of course, my hope is at a 10. But if you're asking what do I think he'll become the franchise quarterback in the next 5 years, I would say I'm on line with GreenBean. I'm at an 8. I see all of the physical tools. I see all of the work ethic. I see he does exactly what he tells you he's going to do. In other words, he goes off in the offseason and says, I'm going to bulk up, and he shows back up and he's bulked up. He tells you I'm going to study my ass off, and he goes and studies his ass off. He tells you he's going to go work out with the fellas, and he's flying all around the country working out with the fellas. So, I mean, when you put it all together, do we really know? No, but if I'm practically optimistic that he will be. Because I see the talent, I see the physical tools, I see the work ethic, I see the film junkie, I see the way the guys, react around him, his leadership, all the good stuff. So I guess I'm probably at an 8 also, Daniel.
Yeah, I mean, look, our concerns with Zach Wilson are interesting, right? Because last year, he started his NFL career, maybe ill-advised. They just threw him to the fire. They gave him the whole entire playbook, right?
Yeah.
And they just said, here, go out there, and your offensive line is fresh. They don't really know their jobs yet, Zach, but you're going to have to figure that out too. Oh, yeah, your receivers, they're not going to catch. So there's all that kind of stuff. He was the most hurried, rushed, pressured, hit, and sacked quarterback in the NFL for the first 4 games of the season, right? That was his introduction. But then we saw an interesting thing happen, which freaked me out a little bit because we just had this experience with Sam Darnold, which is he started missing the easy stuff, super easy, right? The screens. We saw a lot of what we affectionately labeled dirt balls. You know what I mean? Just right to the dirt. And we saw that even in games that we won, like I think it was the Cincinnati game, maybe it was a Titans game, we could have closed it out. Remember before overtime?
Yeah, that was the Titans. Yeah, it was the Titans. He had Ryan Griffin wide open. It was like, come on.
Yeah. So there was a lot of that stuff going on. Now, if I believed that this is Bubby Brister and that this is just part of who he is, like, hey, fuck, he sucks sometimes, then I would be worried, But Zach Wilson didn't have those issues. Like it wasn't that wasn't his issue. He had, his first year in college, he looked shitty when he played. He was all over, but he settled in, and we saw him settle in throughout the season, right? The easy throws, I think, are going to be easy for him once he's comfortable with everything else. He already has an ability to make the hard throws, the stuff that you could work on with guys for years, and they just never get it. Across your chest, out. Into the flat on the others. It's like that. He hits those, man. He hits them without really much issue either. There were quite a few of very, very impressive passes that were dropped of his last year. And so it's not that I'm 100% confident. And as you guys remember, I was not one of the rah-rah boys for Zach Wilson. I wasn't. But watching him last year, there was a couple of times that I said to myself, and probably said it on one of these things as well. I said, you know what? I'm glad it's this kid. Like, I like it. Like, I don't know. I like the way he was handling himself, how he was holding himself, how he was weathering all of, the onslaught, the Saminis going like, why would you have any confidence in this guy? Like those kinds of comments. And he weathered it all, and in a way that was different than Sam Darnold weathered it. You know what I mean? It just felt different to me. And I like him. I think Zach Wilson has the makeup to withstand the New York bullshit. You know what I mean? That we give our players. And I think he's got all the talent in the world. And look, clearly Joe Douglas knows how to support the quarterback. I don't think we can argue that this has been the most support we've given a quarterback, at least since Geno Smith. We gave Geno Smith, Decker, Ivory, and Brandon Marshall. But those were mercenaries. They were never going to grow. And then obviously Geno Smith got his jaw broken. So there's that. But I think if you look around, we know how to develop a team around the quarterback, protection and weapons, tight ends, all the stuff that we're doing. And I think Zach Wilson showed last year, man. Like, He settled down, dude. 1 interception in his last 6 games. You know, I forget the stat. Maybe Buffalo. Buffalo knows it. Buffalo, if you're still in here, I saw you in here. What's the stat that where Zach Wilson's intercept? Maybe Watu knows. I forget. What's the stat where Zach Wilson's interceptions came from? Like it was like 11 in his first 6 games or something like that. But then it was like 3 games where 9 of his interceptions came.
Yeah.
So like, right? Like, so when you look at it, like I talk about all the time, there are box score guys. There are guys you get into arguments with on Twitter. What they do is they Google, they go right to a box score and they go, dude, the guy had a fucking 36.6%. And they argue that with you. And like I always say all the time, I'm much more interested in this story, in the specifics. I'm much more interested in what happened, not just the end result numbers, right? So when you look at Zach Wilson, and I know people say it's excuses and everything, but again, I like to look at that stuff. It's where my interest lies. And when you carve it up to where the sacks, where the interceptions, where it all came from, there is a distinct uptrend in his season last year, while there was a downtrend in the impact players getting injured, you know, as far as them being on the field. So he was able to get better as the team got worse. So there's a lot of hope for Zach Wilson, man, especially when you come out this year and they give him the first round wide receiver since 2001. The Jets have not taken a first round wide receiver since 2001, guys. Okay, this was the first. So that alone says to me that they want this kid to succeed. And I think that's where a lot of our fault lies in these past few years, that we don't even give him anything. So now we're giving him stuff. I think Zach's got it.
And the other thing that everybody always forgets, name me a rookie quarterback who had the person who was mainly the main person responsible for their development. Name me the rookie quarterback who had that person die right before the season started. Where's that comparison? Did anybody ever think we had an A1 awesome coach named Greg Knapp, and the man tragically died, and nobody thinks that has any effect on how Saleh was planning, you know, for the season to go, and how much he was going to give him, because I got Knapp here and Napper's going to make him right and all that. That's a factor too. Now, all of that being said, on all the drops and everybody saying in this, you know, in the chat, you know, the drops and the drop rate and all that, and everything else. Now, this year, those things don't exist. Hopefully no one's going to die. Like, you know, knock on wood, everybody's going to stay alive. Okay. And then we have all of this improved roster, and he's not going to hopefully have all these drops, and he's got a much better line, and he's got the tight ends, and he's got everything, and he's got Breece Hall. Okay. So now if he doesn't improve the stats this year, then you go, excuse me, Zachary, hello, what's going on here? Because he should. So, you know, but yeah, so we all as fans understand the context. We get it because we've seen it. We know all the stats. We know the drop rate. We know this, that, and the other thing. And so everybody else is just looking at the stat line and they're going, "What are you guys talking about? This
guy sucks. He's terrible.
This is stinky," and it's true. It's
stinky.
It's a stinky line. There's no doubt about it. But we understand the context. But that context goes away this year. I mean, now he's got to do it. So, you know, after this year, if he has the same exact stat line after this year that he did last year, then all those people saying he stinks would probably be right.
Yeah. So look, before we continue, I want to get to Mitch's super chat. I want to remind everybody, I just got reminded now by the Iowa. If you're still here, stay around for a few more seconds. Let me know if you're still here. He was just saying goodbye. I want you to be in here because I'm not myself tonight, guys. I hope you guys, I've been in bed for almost a week. I've only come out of bed to move a fucking moving truck and then like bring boxes in and beds and then go back to sleep and all that. So it's been a tough week for me. And I'm just not as sharp as I normally am. But I want to remind everybody, we are trying to get Jets fans that have not been to a Jet home game to MetLife for opening day. We're trying to see if we could do this together. We can all support. The first guy up is Iowa Jets fan. It's a very steady member of our community here. He's in just about every stream that I do. I see him out there. If I pop into Jeremy or somebody, he's over there. I pop into Ryan or whoever he's over there. So he's one of us. In the description of this video, I just remembered to put it in there. So if you refresh your page, you'll be there. There's a link in order to donate. Let me make sure the link works. Let me see here. Maybe not. I don't know. Try the link. I can't for some reason put it on my computer, but we're trying to see. There's a and I'll put it in my Twitter as well. There's a GoFundMe to get Iowa Jetsfan over to opening day. You could put $5, you can put $10, you can do the whole thing if you want. You could pay $1,000. I think we're trying to get to $1,000 flight and everything like that. So if you guys are interested in helping the Jets, never been to a Jets home game, out there to opening day, you can go ahead and help, and just click the link and you'll be able to help. Again, I'm going to put it on my Twitter and I'll put it on Instagram and everything over the next couple of hours. I'll put it all out there. So if you guys want an opportunity to donate, again, if everybody in here gave $5, we'd have it. You know what I mean? It's that simple. So I wanted to remind everybody. Now this light, Frankie, tonight, as you can see, I had to do a makeshift studio, right? I'm not enjoying my light. You see the brightness, and I can't get it to stay. Let's try this. What do you think, Frankie? Wait, no, it's not good. What do you think, Frankie? I'm going to do this.
That's very GreenBean.
Yeah, right. It's like it keeps getting brighter in my eyes. It's like a weird thing. I gotta, anyway. So anyway, guys, the link is in the description. If the link doesn't work, I'll try and get another one going. But I wanted to remind you guys that we are doing that. Now, if we're able to get the money up for Iowa Jetsfan to make it to the game, we're going to continue. And we're going to try to get somebody else. Like, we're going to try to get Jets fans to opening day so they can experience this year's, a very, very exciting season that we have brewing. We're trying to get as many people as we can to experience this one with us. Because as you know, this year, I can't speak for next year. I don't know what we'll do. It seems like something we'll want to do every year. But what I can tell you is this year, everybody's going, dude. Like, I'm hanging, and not everybody, but there's a larger collection of people that we would know going to the same spot than I've ever seen before. Everybody from O'Leary, Ryan, even Jeremy just got his he texted me the other day and said, "Hey, I got tickets." I'm like, I really? I didn't think he was going to be able to come. Not only is he doing that, but he's going to come to Coney Island. We have a whole weekend of awesome coming for you guys. So it's just going to be so cool. Frankie, I don't know what Frankie's doing. We stopped bothering him. I would love it if Frankie could swing it and get out there with us. I imagine there are still some tickets available. But yeah, there's just going to be a lot of people, man. Sack Exchange from Twitter. We got the whole Jet Lounge crew. We're hanging out with Tyson in prime time. From Let's Talk Jets Radio, Buffalo Jets fan. Like, there are so many of us going to be in the same spot that if you have the opportunity, take advantage of it, because we don't know what the future holds. And if you guys are in a position where you can't afford to come, let me know. We're going to try to get Iowa there. If that works, we'll continue and try to get you there as well. We're just going to continue to do this and try to get Jets fans to the game. Okay, we'll try to do it. So I wanted to remind everybody that. Isn't that cool?
It's important to fill the damn stadium. One thing I noticed watching that Jacksonville game, there was a point where there was some sort of delay on the field. I think there was a fight or something. In those situations, the camera looks at the scoreboard and shows you third quarter, blah, 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 blah. But then it showed the stands, and there's nobody there. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So yeah, anything we can do to get more people in the stands. We got to fill that place, even if it's not the greatest stadium in the world. We get that, but we got to fill it. I mean, maybe if we buy enough tickets, they'll put something on the top of the stadium to make the sound stay inside of it.
They could put a sheet. They could drag a sheet over it, Frankie.
Sheet metal.
Right. Make
it sound like an airport.
That's right. I was just gonna say that, breaking the sound barrier, like some shit like that. What do you call that? Sonic boom. Man.
Yeah.
Do
Sonic boom. That should be the name of our offense.
That's right. It should be. We'll get that going too. We got a lot to do, Frankie. We have a lot of things to start here.
First, we got to get good. Then we get the nicknames.
That's right. We don't do nicknames until we learned that lesson last year. What a funny thing that was when they did that interview and they said, you guys have a name? And Becton and ABT go, we're the Smash Bros. Dude, I had my heart sank into my chest the moment I heard it. I made a video that day. This is a fucking bad omen. I can't believe we never saw him play again. I mean, we had one game. That's all we got of those guys. So no more nicknames.
Yeah.
All right. A. Mitch checking in. Thank you, A. Mitch, for the super chat. He says, that's why Gase always played Frank Gore and Demaryius Thomas. Rest in peace. We can't go down that trail. We need to play our talent. Al never practiced. Who's Al? Oh, Al Gore. I mean, Frank. Is that what you're saying? Frank Gore, Al Gore? Is that what just happened there?
Maybe
Al?
it's AI never practiced.
Who's AI?
Allen Iverson.
Allen Iverson.
We're talking about practice. We're not talking about practice.
So it's either Al Gore or Allen Iverson. One of those two guys. But look, Frankie, what do you think about this? You know, Todd Bowles did this too. Like when there were guys like Fat Revis his last year with us. Revis had a good 2015. He came back 2016 and he was a different person. He was Fat Revis, like Fat Rex and Skinny Rex, two different people. And never once did Bowles even consider putting him on the bench. Never. Why? Because he's the great Darrelle Revis. And when guys don't feel pressured to play your big name guys or your favorite guys, or I think that goes a long way toward earning respect with the team. The hardest worker, the guy putting in the most effort and playing the best will play. And that's the way that it should be. Like we heard Morgan Moses say that last year when he was complimenting the Jets organization. He said, best 53 play. And I like that about this place. And it's amazing. Like you think, of course, the best 53 play, but that's not always the case. Like A. Mitch is talking about here. Frank Gore was not the best guy on our team when he was here, but we played him nonetheless. He was the guy. He was our starter. The whole season we watched Al Gore run the ball. And it didn't matter that we had young bucks to take a look at, whether it was Josh Adams or Michael Pirine. It doesn't matter. We had all these young guys, and we ran Frank Gore over and over and over again. And that's it's good to see that change. What do you think about that, Frankie?
That's called bad coaching. I mean, Nobody respected Adam Gase either. I mean, that's the other thing. Who respected Adam Gase? Really? I mean, TD, I don't know if you know TD, the Dolphins fan TD, Fins Talk. He has a new show, a new segment he's doing on his channel, and he does a reenactment of the past, and he plays all the parts. And he plays Adam Gase. He plays the owner. It's a really interesting video series. And it goes back to the time when Gase was the head coach and they're firing him. And he does this whole thing with Gase in the car with white stuff on his upper lip and next to his nose.
What? I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Check it out. TD Fins Talk.
Hold on. Do this. I got to find this right now. Where is this? How the hell did I not see this?
You know TD, right? TD Fins Talk. He does the roundtable with Richie and all that. He's a really good content creator on YouTube, and he does the Dolphins. And he has this new series where he goes into the Dolphins' history and how they got to where they are. And it's a reenactment. So he plays all the roles. He's like, oh, now I'm Stephen Ross here. I'm making the phone call. Now I'm Grier. Now I'm Gase. Now I'm this guy, that guy.
Oh, so it wasn't actually Adam Gase.
No, he's playing the role of, playing the role of Adam Gase in the car, getting the call that he's getting fired. He's playing a role. But my point is, even a fan like TD knew what was going on with Adam Gase at that time. Right? Because he's reenacting it. He knew what was going on and that we saw in the press conference and all this. And yet our people, Christopher Johnson, and our people who vet these people didn't know, apparently, or didn't care. I don't know. How could that be? I mean, that's how bad Adam Gase was, where a fan like a TD, who's an informed, knowledgeable fan, but knew enough that's what was going on with Adam Gase back then.
Yeah.
And then we hired him after that. I mean, come on now.
Yeah. Think about that. That's how lost we really are. Now, look,
we were
right. Now, I want to point, like, there's, like we talk about things like Woody and CJ, they suck. They got to sell the team. And I I don't lean that way, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because it does. Obviously, they are lost, right? Like they don't know what they're doing, and you'd think by now that they would, okay, that they would, but they don't, okay. But the effort is always there. The effort is always there. Going out there, hiring consultants, hiring this guy, paying whatever people want for players, overpaying losers with big names. Like they're all about giving the capital necessary, but they've had poor guys running the show for a long time. And so I don't know. Anyway, I'm somewhere in the middle on the Johnsons, but I always can appreciate their effort. But the interesting thing is when Woody went to become the ambassador of the United Kingdom or England or Britain, they went over there to do that. His brother, Christopher Johnson, CJ, as he's affectionately known, he had an opportunity. And this is where it gets really interesting. If you look at this little microcosm of time where Christopher Johnson was the CEO of the New York Jets, so much happened in that little period of time. Because why? Because he's looking from afar, kind of like us probably. He's looking and going, man, they're overcomplicating this. I know I can do a better job. I know this is easy. I'll just go in there and I'll fucking hire the right people and I'll change the uniform and I'll do everything. And he'll get it right. But what happened was Peyton Manning called Christopher Johnson. And I'm going to venture to say that was the first time Peyton Manning ever called Christopher Johnson. Do you think I'm reaching there, Frankie?
I think Peyton Manning's probably on the phone all day long with Christopher Johnson. I mean, Peyton Manning got nothing better to do than call Christopher Johnson and say, tell me, Mr. Johnson, all you know about football. And then Christopher Johnson can talk for 2 minutes and say, thank you.
They just talk shop all day about offensive schematics where, hey, they're breaking down the future. So it's unfortunate that we had to endure that. But Christopher Johnson, he's looking at this like, look, he got fired from Miami, blah, 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 blah. But one of the greatest of all time calls him and says, hey, I know there's some bad press on this guy, but I'm telling you, he's the hire. You're going to look like a genius. Christopher Johnson got swept up. And this is where, when you don't have football guys around that go, no, Chris, he's no. Well, let's trust our own people, not him. He has no, connection to us. We don't know what the motivations are. But that's what happened. Now, we had to endure it for 2 years. But the interesting thing is that everybody outside knew, like you're saying, Frankie, we all I didn't even believe it was real. I stayed on Jetnation for 24 hours, it seemed, that whole day, like Mike McCarthy, Matt Rule, everybody said, it's a done deal. And then out of nowhere, Adam Gase. I said, there's no way that's a real report. You're not going to not hire Mike McCarthy and Matt Rule for Adam Gase. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And but anyway, it's tough that the whole world knew except for our organization. It's crazy, but that's what happened. CJ, he was trying to impress Big Bro. That's what. But
I will say things have gotten better since then, and I think Kevin in the chat is talking about it. Like, listen, everything after Joe Douglas has been pretty good, because don't forget that the Johnsons have to sign the checks for the Brad DeWeese department. They have to pay those people. Joe Douglas wants to hire all these doctors. They don't come cheap. You got to pay them. And they have the facility out in Florham Park, and that's a beautiful facility. Everybody says so. And it's top notch. And all the things Morgan Moses said when he was here at the end of the year last year, from the janitor all the way up, everything's top notch. All of that costs money. So you got to give the Johnsons credit for that. So I would say everything from the Joe Douglas era onward has been pretty good. So we got to give him credit for that at least. And it could be a lot worse. We could have who's the owner of the freaking Knicks and Rangers? That guy.
Yeah. Well, that's who it was.
Him. Yeah, we could have had him. So it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. So it's an interesting thing. And like I said, I happen to like the Johnsons as owners, as at least as far as they're not stingy. They are not stingy owners. We overpay everything. They just had bad people spending their money. Right. So that's been the problem. But yeah, so I think it's like, look, now we finally have a football guy. We finally have a football organization in place. And we can thank Adam Gase for that. He was our bottom. And it's crazy to say.
Yeah,
What it really
gotta
is.
bottom out somehow.
Got to bottom out. Right. So J.E. Allen checking in. Sorry to keep you up there so long. Thank you for the orange super chat. We do appreciate it. Says, hey, GreenBean and Frankie, rank the top 5 quarterbacks over the past 20 years. Mark Sanchez was good, effed by the media after the butt fumble. Well, that's an interesting way to end that question, J.E., because I wouldn't even, Mark Sanchez isn't going to sniff the top 5 quarterbacks. And I think Mark Sanchez, while I'm not a Mark Sanchez hater, I'm not. At the same time, Mark Sanchez had the number 1 offensive line in the NFL. He had the number 1 rushing attack in the NFL, and he had the number 1 defense in the NFL. And oh yeah, his passing game consisted of Santonio Holmes, Braylon Edwards, Jericho Cotchery, Brad Smith, then you had Dustin Keller. Like Mark Sanchez, if we had a quarterback that was Fitzpatrick, we would have won the Super Bowl that year. That's my thought. But so I'm not a hater with Mark Sanchez, but dude, the guy had everything. Like where Sam Darnold had nothing, Mark Sanchez had quite literally everything, and he couldn't do it. We had a stagnant offense. Mark Sanchez threw for 200 yards a game. There was a whole stretch of time where he didn't break 200 yards. So what is that? You know what I mean? So anyway, Frankie, your top 5 quarterbacks over the past 20 years. That's hard to say. It's got to be. Yeah, I think J.E. is going to make us say a name game, isn't he?
Well, let me say this. I'm just since J.E. made this comment, I looked up Sanchez's stats as I am wont to do. And I will say that out of the 4 years that Sanchez was here, those 4 years, he had a completion percentage better than Zach Wilson's once.
Yeah, right. You see what I'm saying?
So no way, by no measure was he any good, except for the fact that we had 2 winning teams that went to the AFC Championship.
Right.
That's the only measure by which he was good. And it's because we had the number 1 defense in the league, but like all the things that GreenBean said. I mean, and even Coach Westhoff talks about it in his book that team carried Sanchez, not the other way around. But I don't know. You're the historian. But top 5 quarterbacks for the Jets over the past 20 years. So going back
to,
you
know what, Frankie, I'm sorry to. I think that I think I initially read the question as top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL, but maybe you're right, and that's where Sanchez would come in. Top 5 quarterbacks of the Jets. Are we allowed to have a top 5 quarterbacks of the Jets when we have never had a top 20 quarterback?
I mean, you'd have to say Chad.
Yes.
You'd have to say. I mean, how do you think about Favre? He was doing really good before he got injured, but it was 1 year and then he got injured.
Yeah.
Vinny T was really good but that's might be out of the past 20 years because that was his good year was 99. Fitzgerald was good. Fitzpatrick was good in 2015, but 1 year. And then the next year he held out and stunk.
Stunk.
I mean, so it gets pretty thin after that. I mean,
I know, right?
You can't put Kenny O in there. He's not. That's too long ago.
It's too long ago. And look, you can't put Sam Darnold. I mean, Sam Darnold had a handful of really exciting games, man. The Denver game sticks out. Obviously, the back and forth in the loss to the Packers was good. But can you say? I mean, I guess he'd have to be in there because that's how it's such a glum subject, J.E. I have to tell you, we have failed miserably.
Yeah, but there are teams that have failed worse, like the Bears. Name me a good Bears quarterback ever. You can't do it.
That first year, hey, he had a good first year.
Who?
Trubisky.
All right.
You look it up. I forget what it was.
No, he wasn't bad. Interesting thing about Trubisky, his stats are not that bad. I actually think that the Steelers might have gotten a steal, actually, with Trubisky, which makes me wonder why in the heck did Pickett in the first round. I don't get that. But, there are teams that, and you're not allowed to say Sid Luckman, Y2K. That's not – Sid Luckman was like the 1940s. I'm sorry, that doesn't count. But other than that, Jay Cutler, Rex Grossman, that makes my point exactly. So, we've had terrible luck with that. But we did have Joe Namath. We did have Kenny O'Brien. We did have Chad Pennington. We did have Vinny Testaverde that 1 year when he was really good that 1 year.
Dude. Dude, he had, I forget, I'm going to look it up, but dude, it was remarkable. His stats.
He played out of his head. You know, he was colorblind.
Was he?
Yeah. Can you?
Hey, did
a
I tell you
colorblind quarterback? Can you imagine?
my son might be getting into the military academy where Vinny Testaverde went to school? Like it's right here. You walk in there. Eddie George went there. Plaxico Burress, all kinds of guys. And my son did
Fork Union
Fork
Military Academy.
Yep.
Yeah, it says right here.
Does it?
Pretty cool.
Excuse me, guys. Yeah, Fork Union Military Academy. I'm literally Frankie. You want to know the town I live in now? Fork Union.
Or shorted, you know, if you want to shorten it, it's Fork U.
Fork you, right? All right, let's look at Vinny's stats real quick.
I mean,
Number
98 was the year,
Yeah.
not 99.
Right. He number one, he played 14 games, I think he said. So 14 games. His record was 12-1, was it? Wait, I don't know.
Yeah.
61.5 completion percentage, 29 touchdowns, 7 interceptions for 3,256 yards. I mean, but he's, you know what's sad about it is he still didn't break 30 touchdowns. It's crazy.
Yeah, but you know, Troy Aikman's high for touchdowns was 24 in a season. Troy Aikman.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So sometimes these stats are weird, but yeah, I mean, for him, because his problem always was the interceptions. He had a 35 interception year, 35 interceptions. And then he followed that up with 22 interceptions. And then he would just have all these interceptions. And then that year he was 29-7 out of nowhere, like crazy.
Yeah. You know, and that was where, see, a lot of you guys won't remember this, but I was on the internet as a Jets fan back when this happened. The most violent oppositionally I've ever seen Jets fans get was during the Vinny or Chad debate. So Vinny Testaverde was here. He obviously did all that. He took us to the championship game and everything. There was a huge swath of Jets fans that wanted to just ride Vinny. He's the best quarterback we've ever had. Let's just see what he can do. Like, stop, playing games like he's, whatever. And then there were guys, and this is where I fell. Chad Pennington sat behind Vinny Testaverde for a couple of years, came in when he got hurt and looked amazing, right? And I was like, okay, well, Vinny Testaverde has what we called Vinny Testaverde-itis, which is, yes, he throws touchdowns, but he has an uncanny ability to throw pick sixes exactly when you don't want him to. And that's the thing. That's what, like, kind of Vinny's rub, right? But Jets fans, that was the most contentious I've seen more than once. Now, whether they met, I don't know, but I've seen more than once people schedule fistfights and because of that debate, right? That was back in, and we're talking about 1999, 2000, and that.
What's crazy about that year is that was the only year where he had a really good ratio. And then right after that, he got injured. Then he came back, and he went right back to his interception ways again.
Yeah.
Like he never went back. It's not like he learned something suddenly at age 35. He just had a miraculous season, and then he went back to being interception Vinny.
Yeah, and he had those great games. I mean, there were some games in that 1990, not 99, but the 2000 season that he looked like $1 million again. But he's just it's too inconsistent. And look, I say this all the time. Like, I value consistency more than feast or famine. Like, there are guys that some weeks are going to give you amazing games, but then they blow it a week later. Like, I don't want those guys. I would rather have a little bit less production consistently. That's what I would like. And that's where the guy on the team right now that reminds me of that is Ty Johnson. I don't like Ty Johnson for that reason. I'm not talking about the person. I'm talking about the running back on our team. But, like, remember Otis Smith? Otis Smith was one. He'd get burned for 2 touchdowns, and then he'd get a pick 6 in the same game. It's like, this guy terrible or is he amazing? What the fuck is with this?
But especially for a quarterback, I think you need consistency from a quarterback. You need to know what you got. And so for me, Vinny was just turnover machine. I mean, he played until he was 44 years old. You believe that? Which back then was something. I mean, now we have Tom Brady going to play till he's 500, but
yeah. Back
then, nobody played to 44.
No.
Vinny played, especially for a guy who turned the ball over so much. They kept putting him out there.
They did. I remember seeing him on the Patriots bench. He was 42 years old, I think he was, or something. I'm like,
43.
Really? 43. Yeah, I'm like, wow. Who knew? Vinny. But so Buffalo Jets fan checking in with an interesting one, Frankie. This is super duper spectacular. That's what we say. That's what we call this. Any super chats I get from now until the opener, I will donate towards this getting more fans at the game. Let me say this. Because Buffalo Jets fan is doing that, I am going to donate all of these super chats as well. Every single one. I already donated to the cause. But I'm going to donate all of these super chats to the fund as well. Now, if the link is incorrect, guys, know this. I will correct it. I'm like trying to work on the fly here, and I might have put a link in that doesn't work, but just follow me on Twitter. I'll make a YouTube short with the link in it as well. I will get this GoFundMe account out there for you guys. And look, again, if you donate $5, your part is taken. We can get these Jets fans there. And Buffalo Jets fan, amazing, man. Oh, Iowa Jets fan just wrote to me on Twitter. Let's see what he said. Here. Here's the go. All right, I'm going to put this link in here. Hold on.
Unfortunately, he's taken all the money and gone to Atlantic City. Sorry, breaking news.
Breaking news. He sold his tickets. All right, I'm going to go.
Just kidding, everybody. Just kidding.
I'm going to go in here right now. I'm going to redo the link just to make sure it's good. Okay, Dr. Shanahan. All right, here we are. Let me do the edit video thing. So I'm going to get this link in there. But Buffalo Jets fan, what an amazingly cool thing to do. And we can just donate right to the GoFundMe. Let me see here. Why does it? Oh, wait. That's why. Okay. Bear with me, everybody. GreenBean. Okay, Discord. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. It's going to my Discord instead of, you know what? Iowa, can you text that to me somewhere else? It's like it's only giving me it's going to Discord instead. But anyway, all right, the link is up there. Let's see if it works. If not, I'll get it out to you guys. But Buffalo Jets fan, what a cool thing. And you can just take it to whatever degree you want to do that. It's appreciated. And you can just donate right to the GoFundMe page. And once we get to, I think the goal is 1,000 to get him out here. Once we get to that, we're going to move on to somebody else. Okay. So if you want to be somebody from somewhere else and you want to come in for a Jets game, you've never done it, write me a little story and then we'll put you on the list and we'll get as many Jets fans as we can to the game. That'll be amazing. And not for nothing, Frankie, we can continue this too. It doesn't have to be opening day, right? Maybe we can get you tickets to another day. What, Jeremy, what's up, buddy? Let me see what he's doing. What do you got? Was Ryan in here? Ryan's in here. Hey, Ryan, why don't you come on and say happy birthday to your child? You want to do that? Is Ryan in here? Let me see. Where is he? I don't see him.
We need to get like a green bean chant going at the game. Can we get like a green bean, green bean, green bean, green bean?
Well, that would be super cool. Frank, let me be honest. Let's explore this for a second.
There's a lot of breaks in the game.
I would feel uncomfortable, though, trying to inspire that. If it happened organically,
it has to happen organically. Yeah.
Yeah.
And or by organically, I mean we'll force feed it into people's brains through this telecast.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be happy about it. I really would. That'd be awesome.
There's enough breaks in the game where you need to gin up some excitement. So let's get a green bean chant going when there's nothing going on, not to interrupt the flow of the game. We're in a television timeout. We need something to talk about. We need something to get us going. We got a few beers in us. Green bean, green bean, green bean.
I love it. You know what? I'm going to talk to somebody about maybe organically doing that when I'm not looking. Oh my God, look how wonderful these people are.
You're in charge of the green bean chant, not me. You.
Right. You. Now listen, I'm going to go over there and pretend I don't even know you.
I'll be coming back from the bathroom and you.
Right, exactly. I like it. I like how you're thinking. Michael LaMountain checking in with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Michael. This is another $5 donation toward the GoFundMe page. I like this. Wait, Ryan is texting me. Hold on. Let me see what he's doing. Want to shoot me the link? Yeah. All right, look, let's get Ryan on. We'll talk. Ryan, as you know, is recently ordained father. Ordained. Yeah. He's recently become a father.
Is that how it works? You get ordained?
I know. You know what, Frankie?
The Catholic Church has to come to your house and ordain you. You are now a daddy.
And the Father and the Son. All right, let me get Ryan over here. I'll get him on right now. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, Jinpox got it. GreenBean chant after every TD. Yeah. I mean, after we're done cheering for the players, I mean, we got to celebrate the people who scored the touchdown. But then after that,
that would be good. I like this. I like how you guys think. This is good. All right, let's get a couple more in. So thank you, Michael LaMountain. We appreciate that. Let's see here. Dom C, our very own Dom C, checking in. He says, Bean, if you need, I will donate my 2 tickets to the opener. 9/11 is tough for me. So if I can help someone else get there, I'm all in. That would be amazing. What a good guy Dom C is. And like so many people, you know, I've had these conversations with quite a few people actually over the past few weeks. I think we forget sometimes that this particular area where the game was in many respects hardest hit by 9/11. So here we are, the game's on 9/11, but it's not, you know, for a lot of us and living around the country, it's an important day, but it's not, maybe you didn't lose anybody. So 9/11's a tough one, you know, for a lot of people up there. So Dom C is not the only person who told me that they're not going to go because of that. They have other things that they do on 9/11 because of that. So, hey, Dom giving the tickets in response to that is fantastic. So thank you, Dom. And I'll talk to you about that. So there you go, Iowa. We're getting there, buddy. Let's bring Ryan on and we'll talk and see how fatherhood is treating our good buddy, Ryan.
Hey,
what's good, guys? This is little Shay.
Look at that.
Shea Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I applaud this. This is amazing.
Kind of cool.
Now, Ryan, let me ask you.
Yeah.
How you doing? How is it? You've been, what is this, 2 weeks now? You're
2
dad?
weeks, 2 weeks as of tomorrow.
As of tomorrow.
Yeah, it's been a rush. It feels like it's been a lot longer. Like, I've been off from work for 2 weeks and just kind of hanging out, just enjoying family life. And it feels like it's been months. It's been a wild ride. Definitely not. I was a little leery, like, oh, I wonder how I'm going to be changing diapers and stuff. Well, you get over that real fast.
Yeah. Hey, right. It's like a pressure chamber. You can not want to do this all you want, but it's coming. You got to figure it out, you know?
Oh, yeah. It's pretty cool. So my last name is Delaney. So Shay D. So I've been calling her Slim. It's like
Shady Laney. I love it.
Slim Shady over here. But yeah, no,
is she one who sleeps through the night for you?
So she hasn't been too bad. It's actually kind of cool because like I'll play some video games till like 1 o'clock in the morning, and she'll like sleep right here with me while I'm playing, and then I'll go upstairs. We'll do a diaper change, and then have some food, and then Becca will kind of take over for like the middle of the night, and then I'll usually wake up a little bit earlier. So sleep-wise, it's working out pretty good.
You guys got a system. You know, a lot of people, they just fight. You're the one who's supposed to wake up.
I don't know if that's a lot of people, GreenBean. That might be revealing about your own past. I don't know.
Oh, no. Mine was very simple. I just said to my wife, I'm not doing it. So that argument was over. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, you got to help out as dad, right, Ryan? Like you can't.
Hell yeah.
You know, it's important. And not for nothing, the time with the little one is cool. Like,
look, yeah. I can't wait. I get like, so Becca's off till like middle of October, and then I'll start going on family leave right around then for like a nice chunk of time too. So I'm looking forward to it. It gives me a reason to come home from, no, not that I needed a reason to come home from work, but like really much look forward to it now.
Yeah, it's amazing. And like you said, it's been 2 weeks. Clearly she's not, she's only 2 weeks old, but isn't it crazy how quickly things change? Like she's a different person already in 2 weeks, right? And you start thinking she's so big. Now, is she smiling yet at you? Real smiles yet?
No, not yet. It's all like reflexive kind of. So I haven't really gotten the, oh, I'm looking at you and I recognize you, or I like see that I'm looking at something. Like I can't really tell if she's like tracking things yet, but it's cool. I mean, dude, let me tell you, the first week of baby farts are awful. They're so bad. They have like this black tar poop, and
I
like
was going to ask you, what'd you think of the black tar first poop?
dude, it was like thick. It
Yeah.
just stank. It was so bad. Now they're
Yeah.
just kind of like funny every time it happens.
Yeah, it's great, right? It's just amazing how much you don't know until
Oh,
you
it's
know,
crazy.
right? The
Yeah,
black tar. I forgot
yeah.
about the black tar.
It was funny. I went through all the like the Lamaze classes and things like that with Becca and like breastfeeding and all that good stuff. And like they told us about it, but I was like, oh yeah, whatever, it is what it is. And like then we had like the first fart, and I was like, whoa, oh man, that is gnarly.
Yeah. So how is Becca holding up? Like, so is
good.
is she good? Everything's good,
Yeah,
like rolling smoothly and everything for you guys?
yeah, we were lucky. It was she's in really good shape, so she rebounded about as well as you really could. After having the baby, and then she's feeling a lot better. She's moving around. She's like nonstop. She's hyperactive, like all that. It's like, hey, we got to like slow down a bit. We can calm down, do things a little bit over. It's hard to like relax. I feel like we're both kind of like anxious people, just wanting to like do things.
Yeah.
But she's doing well. The hormones kind of knocked her for a loop, but she's figuring it all out and everything. And
Yeah.
it's fun. Every time I like walk into a room and she's like holding Shay, I'm just like, whoa, can I hold her?
Yeah.
Please.
Right. I tell you, it's an amazing thing, man. It really is. And it's not a shot at people who don't have kids in any way, shape, or form. But like for a person like myself, I never even wanted kids. And so when I found that I'm having one and then I had one, I was really surprised with the impact that it had on me, like instantaneously. Like I was like, yeah, okay, great, I'm gonna have a kid. But it really comes right away. Isn't it amazing? Like just how powerful the kind of, I don't want to say bond, but the impact that a little tiny human can have on your life, man.
Dude, it's crazy. I remember when I was younger, and I told my dad this the other day because he wished me like a happy first Father's Day, because it was like we took her home on Father's Day. And I remember being little. I was like maybe 10 years old. And I asked my dad, like, hey, what's the most beautiful thing you've ever seen? And he's like, oh, the birth of you and your brother. And I was like, yeah, okay, that's just a nice thing to say, whatever.
Uh-huh.
And then like it happened, and I was like, I get it. Like it makes sense. Like it's weird, but like it makes sense. Like really cool. It was an awesome situation. It's a bonding thing that like, Becca and I were always close. We've been together since high school, so like, we were always close. But like that was an experience it was special. It was cool.
Yeah. Right. Like it's the expected thing to say, oh, the birth of my children but it's real. It's just because, dude, how wacky of an experience is it? It's like, it's nuts what you're really doing. Dude, it's crazy.
When we were up from like friggin' 9 o'clock the night before, and then Becca gave birth like almost 6 o'clock the following day. I was like, oh geez, this is like a crazy like whole rush of emotions. And yeah, it was cool. It was really neat.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy for you, man. Everybody in the chat, there's lots of congratulations coming in for you, man. It's nice to see you too. I mean, let me ask you, any real interest or time to focus on Jet stuff, or you've been just kind of riding the family thing and letting it sit for a little while?
So I normally like kind of take after the draft through like July kind of off anyway, like just as like a mental reset for myself. But having the 2 weeks off and just kind of spending time, I've been doing like little things here and there, more so back end stuff. I just got myself a new laptop that should be coming in the beginning of August. So that's like, exciting that's going to happen. And, I try to do like little, I made one video, I think in the last like 3 weeks, like aside from, any streams that we did or anything like that. But I'll start cranking again, probably middle July.
Yeah, that's probably. I wish I could do the same thing, man. I mean, I have like COVID this week, so
Shit.
Yeah. So I haven't been making anything just because I haven't.
Yeah.
But I think like a mental reset. I don't even know what that is. That might be something I need to try, Ryan. Because
I mean, the only reason I can do it is it's not so much So my busy season for golf is really like May, June, not so much July, but then it gets like really ramped up in September. And by the time I'm done with like golf, and then we go into football season, and then draft season and free agency and all that stuff, and we like climax at the draft, and I'm like spent. I'm like, oh, I just need to hit the reset button, and it makes me more passionate about stuff as opposed to like maybe forcing a video or something like that. But I feel left out. I'm like, oh man.
Right.
I'm missing everything. I'm watching all the videos that pop up, and like, I'm just like, I'll get to it eventually.
Yeah, right. And that's the thing. It's like, but I totally get it. Like that FOMO almost. It's like, oh, look at all this stuff. I should have made a video on that. Oh, I could have did that. And it's like, yeah, man, but you know what you're doing right now, it'll be over in a minute. And this is the time, dude. You only get that first month with your kid once.
Yeah.
One time. It only lasts for a month. And like, think about it. A couple weeks ago, you and Becca were not parents. Now for the rest of your life, you're going to be parents.
That's crazy. I heard
will
you guys
say-
talking a little bit about getting some people in to go to the Jet game. What's going on?
So we have a GoFundMe started by Iowa Jetsfan. He's up there in Iowa, obviously, and he's never been to a game. So we started a GoFundMe to try to get some Jets fans to the home opener, number one. But I think we'll keep it going too. Like if we can get tickets, if we can get tickets for guys to get into the game, I think that's a great thing to do. So people have donated. There's like 5 or 6 donations in there now.
That's cool.
But yeah. So, and then Dom C, he has 2 tickets to the opener, but 9/11 is a day that he can't, he's got other things going on. So he donated the 2 tickets. And maybe Iowa can use those, but either way, we're going to kind of identify the price that we need. Like Iowa, he's got to fly in and everything. So it's expensive. But so if we can get Iowa in, then we'll move to the next person. So cool. I'll put the GoFundMe on Twitter and Instagram and everything, and you'll see it there. If you want to donate, you can as well.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But we'll get
awesome. Yeah. Let's get some guys out here.
Right. I think what a great idea. It wasn't mine. I'll admit, I'm taking it though. I'm going to take it and run with it. In a month, I'll tell you a story about the thought process behind it and how I created it. I'll do all that shit. But right now, I'm just kind of taking it and running with it because I do think it's a great idea. There are so many Jets fans that we talk to, like they've never been to a game. It's like,
for sure.
You got to go to one, at least just one. You got to go to one. So I think it's a cool thing.
Whoa.
Wow.
You know who so sorry, the dog's just barking.
No, it scared me a little bit.
I was talking to someone the other day. I got an email. Shut up. I just got got an email from someone the other day. I don't know if you saw this. They might have emailed you too. I guess someone got fired up at Jet content creators for like not making a push for Joe Klecko to make the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah.
So they're like calling on all Jet content creators to try and create some kind of push. I don't know when they like decide the senior guys, like when they can get in. Like, do they decide now for next year?
They already did. It comes in
for 2020.
I gotta look at it again. It's funny because I have a whole bunch of content collected. I just never put I went through the whole thing and like I have 2 videos almost ready to go. Almost. And I just never, I get caught up in everything else and I never put it out, but I'll put it out. I got an email too. Some people out there, people out there think like this is my profession. This is all I do. You know what I mean? Like, but I did say I would do it. So I think it would be nice to do some things like number one, getting Jets fans in the games. Our boy Sack Exchanges always wants to be involved in that stuff, kind of helping guys get into games. So there's a lot of us out here that does that, but I think in addition we can make some waves about getting
some
guys
noise.
Right, and then not for nothing, even in our Ring of Honor, like you guys know, I'm a big Mo Lewis proponent, and I think like who not if not us, who's gonna make the noise? You know what I mean? So I think we should take this mantle and maybe in the next week or so I'll finish I have a Gastineau video, the real Mark Gastineau, and I have another one about Joe Klecko going to the Hall as well. So I'll hopefully be able to get those out. But yeah, we should make some noise. Get a what do you call those things that people sign? What's it called again?
No, like a petition or
petition.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was going to say plantation. I knew that wasn't right.
That's not the right word.
Yeah. So I
All right,
want to
boys,
say this before I admit. Wait, real quick. Aunt
Yeah.
Gina, Aunt Gina says I forgot her birthday today. Now I'm going to be real honest. I didn't forget your birthday today. I never knew. Okay, that's the truth. I don't know anybody's birthday, Aunt Gina. I love you as much as I could love anybody, but I don't know. I barely know my kids. I just got in trouble in the pharmacy the other day. They were asking my wife's birthday. I was like, I had to fucking text her. Like I'm just.
I don't know.
I'm like, I don't know, man. It's one of these days. So anyway, I'm sorry, Aunt Gina. Happy birthday. So your daughter's birthday, Ryan. What's the actual day?
It's June 17th.
June 17th. That's a good one.
Yeah.
What
She was 6 days overdue.
Yeah, I know, right? It seemed like it was like, okay.
I was like, I might be pulled away at any second. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, it's awesome. I'm happy for you, man. What astrological sign does that make her? Is that a Capricorn?
Gemini.
Gemini.
Yeah.
You know, I said Capricorn. I give you guys the illusions like I might have known something. That was a complete shot in the dark.
Did you know there are actually, what do they normally say, 12 horoscopes? There's actually 13, and I guess they just kind of decided to forget about one of them.
Which
I guess for Greek, is it Greek astrology, I guess? It's something with an O. It's like OPH something, or I don't even know how to pronounce it. I don't know.
Really? How weird.
I don't follow that stuff. But I had someone real upset with me that I was like, oh, there's 13 of them. And they're like, that's wrong. I was like, what? Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
You know what, Ryan? We learn in this sphere of consciousness how serious people are about any given subject, right? You say something in passing, you get a 12-paragraph email telling you why you're an asshole because you didn't know. Like, I didn't know. I was just talking. People get serious out there, man.
I have had one or two of those. Where I
Yeah.
said something stupid, I'm like, I shouldn't have said that.
Yep. It happens all the time. Let us see your cute one again. Oh, man. I love it.
I think it's time for a diaper change.
Yep.
All right, guys. It's been fun.
Yeah,
All right.
thanks for checking in, man.
Good to
It's
see you,
really
buddy.
good. It's really
Take it
good
easy,
to
Frankie.
see you,
Take it
Ryan.
easy. GreenBean.
Congratulations again, buddy.
Thanks.
See ya. There he
Man,
goes.
how cool was that?
Yeah, Jets talk 24/7. I've talked to him a couple times out there, but it was nice to fucking be able to see him again, man, because, you know, look, the first couple of weeks of being a parent, it can be a whirlwind. I think I saw Michael LaMountain said, oh, just wait till you see your grandkids. I said, oh, my God, man, we're going to let him enjoy that first month first.
Yeah, right.
And we'll talk grandkids, the LaMountain. We'll go from there. But I it's nice to see Ryan. I'm glad that he was able to call in. So anyway, I see Iowa Jet is back in here, which is nice. I texted him on my Discord, the Beanbagger Discord. So just so you know, we're talking about your thing. So he came back in. That's nice. I'm glad to see you're here. Michael LaMountain says Iowa to Jets game. So I think, yes, I'm going to donate your super chat, Michael, to the fund. So yeah, that'd be awesome, man. This is going to be great, Frankie. I think this could catch some momentum, I think. And if everybody just throws in $5, I think we'll get a few Jets fans there, starting with Iowa. It'll be neat.
Well, let me ask you this, GreenBean. Let's say old Frankie wanted to come to the game. What would the plan be? I mean, do I have to get a hotel the night before? Do I have to get a hotel all the way through Monday? Because I'm probably not driving back to Pittsburgh Sunday after the game. So what would be the recommended for people coming from out of state, like Iowa Jets fan and others who may want to come? What would be a practical game plan for those people?
Well, okay. There's a couple ways you can look at this. Let's just go. You used a particular word there, which is practical. Okay. So taking that practical approach, what I would say is to get a hotel Saturday and Sunday night. Because like you said, you don't want to drive back. I mean, you can. It's about 5 hours, if I remember correctly. I used to make the drive to Pittsburgh all the time, maybe 5.5 hours or something like that. So it's not
it should be around that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not the worst, but it's still it's significant. So, and then what I would do is come Saturday morning. So you get the full day Saturday, like to kind of hang out, go eat a Taylor ham, egg, and cheese, get some pizza, do those types of things. Maybe come to the Coney Island event with us on the Cyclone. But then, yeah, you want to be able to wake up in the area for the game. You know, you don't want to have to drive and you want to be in the area. So then you go to the game, you got to get a parking pass and you got to get a ticket to the game. And then just leave when the game's over, you hang out a little bit and then you leave Monday morning and go back home. That's what I would say. But I am also now the other side, the non-practical side is I'm encouraging people to come on like Thursday night. If you have the capacity, if you have the ability, the time, the money, all those things, maybe like come up on Thursday night. So you have Friday, all day Saturday. And this would give you the ability to kind of experience, you know, all the stuff that we have going on that weekend. From my perspective, one of them is the Coney Island. We're going to hang out in Coney Island for the Cyclone on Saturday. Maybe go get some Nathan's or go get some. We're probably going to get L&B pizza and everything. So you get kind of a full day, you know, with us before the game. And then obviously Sunday is going to be the game. But if you have the ability to spend a few days, I would say if you came on Thursday night and so you get 3 full days, I think that would be really, really a great choice. Again, if you have the capacity and the ability to do that. Now, I will say if we're doing the GoFundMe thing, it's probably going to be for, you know, some travel expenses and the ticket. You know, we're not, you know, if you want to extend it, that would be, you know, I don't think we can do all that through the GoFundMe. We have to figure out some parameters, you know what I mean, on what we're paying for.
Yeah, I think an Iowa Jetsfan is here, and he says he plans to fly in Friday night, rent a cheap-ass car, and leave Monday morning. So that's good. But I'm thinking about other folks, too, if we want to really make, you know, go there in full force and get the GreenBean chant going and, you know, really fill the stadium as much as we can and all that good stuff. We got to get Iowa there, but then we got to get, what about everybody else?
Yeah. Well, look, we're going to do our small part. I will tell you guys, I'll give everybody the information to the tailgate we're going to. There is a specific event that I'm going to. It's the Jet Lounge event, which is being held inside at the Jet hangar. So we're good. There was I think there are 250 tickets. If I remember correctly, just the other day, I saw that some people were still able to get those tickets. So they were originally sold out. I think some people maybe fell off and there are a few more tickets. If you can get into that is a game ticket and, you know, access to the hangar for like $150. So a regular ticket will probably cost you 120, 130. And for like 150 or whatever it is, you get to hang out with all of us in the hangar. Damian Woody's going to be there. Tony Richardson. I heard rumors of Lavernius Coles. A few guys are going to be there for us to hang out with as well, in addition to all of us content guys that are going to be in there. So if you can look into the Jet hangar, you know, the Jet Lounge hangar on Twitter, they're putting the event together. And I'll retweet that stuff. If you guys aren't following me on Twitter, it's just GreenBean the Jets fan on Twitter, and you can find me there. And I'll repost all this stuff so you can have your options. Now, there is somebody in our chat right now that bought a regular ticket and then saw that the hangar tickets opened and then went and got one of them. So that is Harry, our good friend Harry. I saw him in the chat. I don't know if he's still in here, but I saw him in there not too long ago. So he was able to go ahead and get a hangar ticket. It was like maybe yesterday or the day before. So anyway, there's lots of options. I think, again, we got to get the information about the tailgate, because even if you don't sit with us, it's not so important that we all sit together. It's hard to get 50 people in one section anyway, but going and sitting where you want is fine, but you get the tailgate before the game. And then after the game, we all kind of hang out for a few hours. That's the most important thing, to be able to hook up with that. And then, you watch the game where you watch the game, but then we all get together again. I think that's going to be a really good thing. So let me bring Watu-K on. He's going to get us ready for trivia. I just realized it's 10 o'clock already. So I'm sorry about that, but here we are. Let's bring Watu-K on and we'll do some super chats, and then we'll get into some Jets trivia, see what he's got for us. Watu-K, you ready, buddy? All right, here he comes, our good friend, the Virginia Jets fan zone, or Jets fan club zone, Watu-K, Wicker Sports Media, everybody, New York Sports Wicker Media. There he is for your visual enjoyment. There he is. What's up, Watu-K?
Well, boy, how do you follow Ryan and Shay? I mean, man, that's quite a. I don't know if anybody in the world can follow that, but we'll do our best. That was really cool.
Yeah, I feel like that was a bonus. You know what I mean? We got. I don't know how out there he is right now. Again, I've talked to him a couple times, but I haven't seen him since. So the fact that he reached out tonight, Jeremy letting me know that he was in the chat. Then I looked at my text and he texted me and everything. So thank you, Jeremy, for your signaling. And we were able to get him in here. So that's super cool. So watch, okay, before we get into the trivia, let's get to some of these super chats. Again, all of these super chats from this particular show are going to go toward the Jet Ticket Fund. We're going to call it the Iowan Jets Fund for now. And then once he's in, we'll morph it into whatever it's called. But we'll donate all of these to the ticket fund and get some Jets fans in the opener with us. So Kevin C checking in. Our good friend Kevin C says, probably not a popular take, but the Johnsons have been great as of recent. Hired JD, let JD hire coach, stays away from personnel, and spends money. Yeah, I mean, I think, look, in truth, they gave GMs as much money as they wanted. Always, we just made stupid ass moves like Le'Veon Bell, Tremaine Johnson, bringing in all the old guys. But Frankie, what do you think of that? As far as the Johnsons being, it sounds like Kevin is leaning towards even a good owner. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think everything post Joe Douglas. Once we got Joe Douglas in place, everything else followed. He said, we got to have a Brad DeWeese department. And the Johnsons said, yeah, we'll write a big fat check for Brad DeWeese and the doctors and the nutritionists and the massage therapists and the trainers and everything else. And Joe Douglas said, we got to hire Saleh. And he said, yep, okay. And we got to have a new facility. Okay. I'm not sure when the facility came online, but the Johnsons footed the bill for all of that.
Right.
All the thing, Joe Douglas can't write the checks. So, you got to say that once we got the right football man in charge as far as the GM is concerned, the Johnsons have bought in and written the tickets. So, written the checks.
Yeah. Well, Y2K, how do you feel about the Johnsons as far as owners? Frankie has a lot of good points. I mean, again, we had poor decision makers in the building. Mike McCagnon, Todd Bowles. We had, Idzik and Tannenbaum were accountants. So clearly they're not going to maybe have all the moves going the way we want them to, but they seem like they're at least willing to spend the money. How do you feel about the Johnsons ownership?
You know what? I think it's kind of fun to sort of make fun of them, like when Woody Johnson makes the phone calls at the draft, or you get Christopher Johnson on the phone. Chris comes across to me sometimes as like the guy who really wanted to fit in the cool crowd in school, but never quite got in.
Yeah.
But you seem like trying to socialize with Jets fans, and there is something to be said for that. But when it comes to the NFL, there's only really two things I care about. Are you a decent human being? Translation, are you not Dan Snyder or Robert Kraft at a massage parlor? And really the only other thing is, are you willing to invest in the team? Do you prioritize winning? Now, have they made wrong decisions? Absolutely. They probably made more wrong decisions than they've made right decisions. But again, they are willing to spend money where they can, because there is a salary cap, to make this team be as good as it can possibly be. I don't think that Joe Douglas would say, hey, we want to invest in this. I don't think they would say no. So I have a problem when people say, oh, we'll never win anything with the Johnsons as owners. To me that's just just venting, and to me it's not a rational statement to make.
I agree. I really do. And it's not to say that they haven't had any impact with like, hey, get me a big name guy, I need to sell tickets. I think there's probably some conversations like that, but I have to say they strike me as an ownership group, now with CJ being included with Woody, that they just want to win. Like they just like they're willing to do whatever it takes just to win. It's just, again, we've had very, very poor hires. Look, Woody went out there and got Ron Wolf, a Hall of Fame general manager, and Charlie Casserly to consult on who to hire. And we hired Todd Bowles and McCagnon. And Charlie Casserly, as we learned later, was just good friends with McCagnon. He just gave his buddy a bone. And that's, but you got to give Woody the props for actually trying to to go out there and get. I mean, he asked somebody else. You know how in those levels, like a billionaire level, to admit that he doesn't know something and hired somebody else, I gotta credit that. You know, I would say, and I don't know what I'm doing, so I got these guys in to do it, and it still failed. That's why we have to thank Adam Gase, Y2K. Adam Gase is our savior, and we will never forget. He's Judas. You know what I mean? He's very, very important cog to the whole story. Harry, there he is. He's checking in. He says, I'm in for Iowa Jets fans. There you are, Harry. That's the guy right there that was able to get a last-minute ticket to the hangar with the Jet Lounge. I'm so excited to hang out with you guys in there. Jin Pak is the one that Frankie was talking about earlier. Green Bean chant after every touchdown. I am in. I will join in if that happens. I promise. Let's see what else we got here.
Just BEAN, bean.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, I like that. BEAN. I like that, Y2K. Not bad. Yeah, Y2K says, sign my plantation. That's funny. Phenom, this is his donation to the Iowa Jets Fund. So there it is. Thank you, Phenom. YouTube takes 30% of all the super chats. So we'll put 70% of your donation. If you want your donations to go in more pure and more of your money to get there, definitely click on the link and do it that way. But like I said, I'm going to donate all these, the portion that we get to keep. I'm going to give it to the fund as well. I'll collect it at the end, and then after YouTube does what they do to us, then we'll go from there. But thank you. It's nice to see all you guys kind of jumping in and helping out. So there he is, New York Sports Wicker Media. That's Y2K right there, boys. If you haven't subscribed to and supported his channel, please do. He's out there. He's just getting started, just getting things rolling in the video content world. But his channel is New York Sports Wicker Media, and he's donating to the cause. Have a great time. Represent. See that? Iowa, everybody's loving you, man.
Hey, Iowa sent me the bottle of red wine. This is the least I could do for him in return, right?
See that? And that's pure. Like Iowa, he didn't, he wasn't looking for anything in return when he sent that to you.
I just wanted to see Y2K get drunk. That's what he wanted. Let's be honest.
Orange corn wine.
Let's have drunk trivia with Y2K. Who was the first player to wear number 17?
Right. Exactly. So maybe there were motives.
Where did Sherman Plunkett go to high school?
Yeah. Right. So
I'll give you all a few moments to Wikipedia him. Those of you in your 30s and younger, I guess.
Every answer is Sid Luckman.
Well, I missed Twisted checking in with the Iowa Fund. Pass it forward. Look at this, Iowa. Everybody's getting this going. Buffalo said he's going to donate his super chats to the Jets Ticket Fund, the Iowan Jets Fund. Maybe we'll even keep it that. We'll call it the Iowan Jets Ticket Fund, and we'll get it to other people and everything, but it will always carry your name. What do you think of that? I like that. This is good. Yeah, Iowa says, oh yeah, don't forget my hotel. Look at him. He saes, I got to get in the hotel.
Do we got to pay for your room service too, Iowa? What are we doing here? We're going to order a bottle of Dom Perignon. And
it might be like the broom closet of a Motel 6, but we'll work on that.
That's right. As long as you got a pillow.
Hey, we would get you a Marriott, but YouTube already took that portion of the donations.
That's right. Yeah, we're down to Hampton Inn at the top level. But
you get a breakfast buffet. So
I was just going to say, you do get powdered eggs. You do get powdered eggs.
And a waffle iron. That's about it.
That's right. Hey, man. Ain't nothing wrong with it, man.
You get a hot plate in your room. That's what you get.
There you go. Right. You get an empty fridge. That's what they give you, an empty fridge. John Heibendahl checking in. He says, GreenBean, you the man. Enjoy your platform. Can't wait. Well, thank you, John. Again, this will go toward the Iowan Jets Fund as well. I appreciate it. This is great. Hey, look at this one. Aunt Gina checking in, and she says, trivia question for GreenBean. When is Aunt Gina's birthday? So I would have failed that one, and Gene. I didn't know. It's today. So happy birthday, Aunt Gina. I'm regretful. I'm filled with regret and embarrassment. But the truth is, I don't even know my own birthday. So I hope you're having a great day. My Aunt Gina, love her to death. Jets New York 102, may the force grow strong in numbers. There you go. Thank you. That's exactly it. That's exactly right. So $1.70 is now going to go toward the fund from Jets New York 102. But this is it, dude. We're strong in numbers, and we can get things going. We can get guys to the games. We can get people to take a look and see forgotten players like a Mo Lewis, like a Joe Klecko. We can do this stuff. We can let you guys know that even though they do have a platform, that just because these guys say things, it doesn't make them true. Like, for example, let me see if I can show you guys this. I don't know if I can. Let me see. Window Chrome tab. Let's see here. Nope, I can't do it. But anyway, so when we lose, wait, what happened there? Screen sharing. Okay. Anyway, let me get to some more super chats. I'm all over the place. I think that's it. I think we did it. Mitt Flair, there he is. Whoops. Mitt Flair, Adam Gase is Judas, needs to go on a shirt. I know, that's a good one, right? Adam Gase is our Judas. Like, look, in the Christian faith, a lot of people look at Judas as the villain, right? He's the villain, clearly. But without Judas, where's the rest of the story? The rest of the story, that's where the miracles happen. That's the big stuff. That's Easter.
Well said. Yeah, maybe the image is Adam Gase hanging himself. I don't know.
Maybe.
That's a bit rough, maybe, but
yeah,
you're probably
hanging himself with a handful of silver coins.
He's taking the money. You're right. He's taking the money and running. Money in one hand, smelling salts in the other hand.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, smelling salts. Exactly.
Smelling salts. Yeah.
Holy shit. That's where we came from, guys. It's very important. You know, I put up a picture on Twitter the other day with I was just scrolling through my pictures and I found Adam Gase sitting alone on the bench in the middle of a game. And I said, so like whenever we're talking about like, you know, Zach Wilson or Robert Saleh, Mike LaFleur, whatever issues we have, that's where we came from. Just 3 years ago, our general manager and thought I saw something. So our general manager and coach couldn't even make it past one pick in the one draft they did together without fighting and breaking up. And mid games, our coach would sit down alone on the bench and write notes while the game was going on because he didn't have to coach the defense because he wasn't a defensive coach. He was a head coach of half the team. So that's where we came from. So I think we're, you know, when we remember where we started, then you can, you know, properly evaluate the true progress and you can see, man, I think we're in pretty good hands moving forward, especially with great owners like the Johnsons. So let's see what else we got here. So Y2K, what kind of trivia you got for us tonight?
You know what? I do have some trivia tonight. And since we are in the off season, we are definitely looking ahead, and some people think the Jets might actually have a shot at the playoffs if everything goes well. So we're going to do a little Jets playoff trivia tonight. So here is your trivia question. Now, actually, before I ask this question, GreenBean, quick. So with the Beanbaggers, I know you watched the vintage games. Have you watched the Jets Patriots playoff game, the wild card game from 2010, 2011?
You mean the divisional game? Interesting. Yeah, no, we were supposed to watch that yesterday, but we were going to do that yesterday. We all got together and I was too sick. I had to call it. I couldn't even stay awake. So we watched a compressed highlight, like a 12-minute highlight of it all, but we have not watched that full game. We'll do that soon. But yeah, so
I'm going to say, okay, then I'm going to save that question until after you watch the entire game. All right, we're going to go a little bit different route. Okay, gentlemen, your question is as follows. In their history, how many home playoff games have the Jets played?
In their history, how many home playoff games have the Jets played? Ooh.
No.
Let's see. Let's do some
straightforward.
Well, in 86, we didn't play any home playoff. Or was that Kansas City game a home game? Does anybody remember the wild card? Was that a home game? I don't know. I will say we played home against the
Twisted, you don't have to worry about the Titans. Believe me, the Titans never made the playoffs. You don't have to worry about that one. Yeah.
Look, there's not a Titans numbers. Yeah. They're all jumping.
I know they're all throwing out numbers, right? It would be good. Yeah. We can name the actual games, though, of course.
Yeah, let's do. So I remember the Colts game in 2003, was it 2001, something like that, with Chad. That was a home playoff game.
02 season going into 03. Yeah.
Okay,
That
so
is-
we had the Jags game in 1998,
right?
which
That's
I was
2.
at. So there's 2. I'm gonna say 2.
It is more than 2.
Oh, that's good news, Frankie. At least I feel better.
Well, let me give people a clue. I just looked something up. Our playoff record for the 63 seasons we've been in existence, our complete playoff record is 12-13.
That's good. That's just under 500.
That's all right.
That's an
That's all right.
outrage. We need to get above 500. Well,
So
but that
Journey-
tells you we've had 25 total games, though, and so you might want to figure out from there how many of those might have been home games.
If
Nobody's
that's how you
thrown out
if
the right
you-
number, even. Yeah, nobody's even mentioned the
All
right
right,
number.
I'm
in
gonna
the chat yet.
scuttlebutt. I thought scuttlebutt. This is where I was going next. 4. No,
Okay. It is not
Scuttlebutt.
4. It is not 4.
4.
I'd say 10.
10.
It is not 10.
Yeah.
The Oakland Raiders. No, wasn't that? I thought the Raiders in 1982 or whatever it was. I thought that game was in Oakland.
That game was actually in Los Angeles. They were the LA Raiders at the time.
They were LA at that time.
82. They
They
were in
were-
LA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
They're in the
a great
Coliseum.
game, dude. And now look, that was when I was a very young fan. I was just getting acclimated, and my father's a Raiders supporter, and it was like the whole energy about the game was this was the real mean team that was going to kick our ass, and they didn't. And it was a great. I got to find that game. I got to get that one. That is a good game to watch, man. It was all kinds of helmets getting ripped off, and it was a fucking mean game, dude. But it was great, and we won. We won only to lose the next week. Let's see. The Bengals were at home. The Bengals game was at no.
I don't. No, it was not. No, Jeremy, I'm sorry, but not true.
No,
It's,
right. Yeah. You know why he remembers that? Because the week before we played the Bengals in the last game ever played at Giant Stadium was the Jets beating the Bengals before we flew out to Cincinnati to play them again.
All right. Sluggo gave us the correct number, so he's got the right number of games. So somebody got that correct. Now let's see if we can name.
right,
We've named. So the correct answer is 7 home playoff games. Okay, so half of the. Yep. So we've got the Indianapolis win, we've got the Jacksonville win, but there are still 5 more games that let's see if you guys can name it.
Well, was the Kansas City 86 game, was that a home game?
That was a home game. That
There
is
you
correct. Before the Cleveland double overtime, Mark Gastineau roughing the passer game.
Ugh, the worst. I'll tell you. That's reason enough alone for a lot of people not to want to put Gastineau in the hall. That one play
It's
alone.
so egregious. Even by
So
80
bad.
standards, that penalty was so obvious. It's like, what was he thinking?
It was terrible. And without it, we win. It's that simple. It's crazy.
Yep.
All right. So we got the
Buffalo,
Bengals.
yep,
We got
Buffalo.
the.
We mentioned the Colts. Yep. Buffalo. We did mention the Colts. Yep.
So we're going to go back into history then here, right? This is we're going back.
We got to go back a little bit. Yep.
Who did the Jets play in the 82? Well, there had to be a wild card there then. Who'd we play? That had to be 82 season.
So in 1982, I'm just going to let you know that was the strike shortened year, so they expanded the playoffs, and we won 2 games on the road. We beat Cincy on the road. We beat the Raiders on the road before the Mud Bowl in Miami. We did not have a home playoff game in 1982.
Interesting.
Yep. So you got the 2 most recent ones, but there's still 5 other games. The chat did mention the first one, the earliest game.
So real quick, while we're trying to figure this
Phenom's
out,
doing well. Phenom got 2 of them. So
all right, let me see. Well, I just want to acknowledge this. Gammon Brown said the Jets don't appreciate us like they should. New season, new you. Come create content for the 49ers fans. Plus, we win games. Hey, listen, Gammon, if winning games was a prerequisite for us to be football fans, we would have been gone when we were in our adolescence. All right. This is not about wins and losses for us. Okay. This is about overcoming heaps of problems and issues. That's what it's about for us. It's about breaking the chains, man. But we know what I did hear there, Frankie. I hear that he's not satisfied with his content creators and would love it if guys with our quality were doing it out there for his team. That's what I hear, Frankie. See what I mean?
Well, I'm sorry you're not satisfied with Rob Shue and Grant Cohn and the rest of the boys over there on the left coast. But, hey, become a content creator yourself, Gammon. Why not just start your own channel? Let's go. Get to it.
There
Get
you
going.
go. I like that. All right. So, well, thank you for the comment, though, Gammon, and we're happy to have you here, buddy. So Phenom says the Oakland at New York Jets, KC at New York Jets, wild card. So we have those. We also have
so
the
that's
Jaguars.
4.
So that's it.
That's 4. That's 4 games. There's 3 others. So, the 68 AFL championship, and then the next year when they lost the opening round at home to Kansas City.
Oh, Joe Buddha. This is an interesting one.
Easy. That's the one.
Yeah, this is interesting. I was actually, listen to this. I was actually at the game that we had to win against the Cleveland Browns, I believe it was, the week before. If we win, we're in the playoffs. And I was in the upper deck of Giant Stadium. I was a little boy. I was with Aunt Gina, and there were fat guys taking off all their clothes. It was freezing, like bitterly cold. And there were fat guys taking off all their clothes and crumpling up money and throwing it out to the people of us up there. And I was probably 10 years old or so, 11. And I caught $3. So there you go.
Okay, then.
In researching this, I came up with something fascinating to put our current problems into perspective. And it goes into the history. I think GreenBean and Y2K will like this. In 1976, we gave up. We had the biggest point differential in our entire franchise history. We gave up 214 more points than we scored. 214 points did we give up than we scored. That team was coached by Lou Holtz and some guy named Holovac. That is until 2020, where we gave up, again, 214 more points than we scored.
I did the research on that. That might have been a future question.
Well, I mean, it's just fascinating.
That's okay.
But then, and then so that tells you how bad we were. But then last year, we weren't much better. We gave up 194 more points than we scored. So Salah's got some work to do here. We give him, he's trying to clean up Gase. We get it. But, this year we got to see a turnaround. Let's go. But that tells you just how historically bad we were in 2020. Just so you know
how low the bar is and what we'll accept, because we've seen so many low moments for so many years.
Yeah. Right. But people do forget, though. Look, the Kotite years were bad as far as the wins losses go, but I maintain that the team that Adam Gase coached was significantly worse. Even though he managed to win more games, it was way worse than the Kotite years. They were at least
point differential would back that up. Yeah. Kotite years, negative 175 and negative 151.
See that? So real quick, just so if you guys are interested in learning just how bad the Lou Holtz era was, this is his priority. Hopefully we can just start it from the beginning here. This was what he thought was a priority coming to the NFL from college. He wanted to make sure that we had our own fight song. So here it is.
Let's go, Jets. Let's show them how to move that ball. Let's go,
and we show the punter. That's important.
Yeah, and getting blocked.
These highlights.
Anyway.
The pride of North, South, East, and West. Oh, my goodness.
Isn't it crazy? Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like, I remember telling my son when he wanted to be a Jets fan, I tried to make him a Ravens fan, as I've shared with you guys many times. He wanted to be a Jets fan. And but I did say, okay, well, at least you'll never have to endure. This is back in 2010. So I said, at least you'll never have to endure what I've endured, like the Kotite, like that whole period of time, Koslick. I never thought that we would ever be that bad again. Little did I know, we had new caverns to explore of pain. So
we had no idea what the abyss was. Oh, by the way, there was one other game. The chat got it. I know Jeremy mentioned it, but I don't think we didn't mention it here on the show. There was one other home playoff game, and that was, I'll just give it to you. It was 1981, Jets versus Bills at Shea Stadium, where that was the game where Bruce Harper fumbled the opening kickoff. The Bills went ahead early by a lot, and the Jets made that furious rally, and Richard Todd threw a late interception, which sealed the game for the Bills. So,
Richard Todd, remembered so fondly by most Jets fans. So, guys, I do want to remind you that we are currently in the middle of identifying the most embarrassing moments in New York Jets history with Twitter polls. I'm doing 5 Twitter polls, and the winners of the Twitter polls will go into a head-to-head to identify what the most embarrassing moment of New York Jets football has been. So far, the butt fumble has won one. Rex's foot fetish didn't even win. We have a few that are already on top that are going to go head to head. But if you want to get involved in that, you can check out my Twitter and get your vote in as well. I had like over 1,000 votes on the one, which is neat. A lot of people are getting involved in this. So here's my Twitter, but that'll be fun. I'd like to figure it out and see which moment. Was it Gino's jaw getting broken? Was it the butt fumble? Was it this, that, or the other thing? But I can tell you one thing it's skewing though, Frankie, is it's like all the older things, the fake spike, all that stuff is not getting as much traction as I would have thought, because a lot of the fans don't even know what the hell that is. Like, they don't remember. There are a lot of young guys, they don't even remember what that stuff is.
Is the Lou Holtz fight song on the bracket?
No,
all I have to do is show that video. I think it has a good chance.
Right. Well, it's going to be this one. And AJ Dewey, I put the Mud Bowl on there, and it got very few votes. The next one is going to have Kellen Winslow. The masturbation in the CVS parking lot is going to be up there, and the Lou Holtz fight song is going to be up there. So we'll see. I know we got some goodies. We got some good moments.
I think when Winslow got caught doing what he was doing in the parking lot, he had 2 jars of something, and I think it was labeled Mr. Happy. I think that was, yeah. Oh, I was listening to like an old Boomer and Carton clip a while back when they were reporting on it, when the police report came out, and it said like Mr. Happy on the jar. It may have been Vaseline, or it may have been something else. I'll let you draw your own conclusions.
Yeah, that was a Chris. No, I don't know if a lot of people weren't embarrassed by that. I was embarrassed by that.
It was really kept under the rug. Yeah, it didn't get a whole lot of publicity. It was gone within about a day or two, but still, it was. Yeah, that was almost that made it more embarrassing than the butt fumble.
Yeah, I know the butt fumble's weird because it's only one play, and it didn't really mean any too much we were getting our ass kicked in the game. But it really was. The reason it's so popular is because it's a singular event. Like, I see there's lots of Jets fans that write me and they justify it. He was going for a slide. It's not as bad. The truth is that there's never been another play where a quarterback missed the handoff and then decided to run full speed into the ass of his lineman and fumble the ball. It's a collection of intricate little details that have never happened before or after since, in the NFL. So that's why it's so insanely popular. But we got to try to get past that one, man. Cause that shit, I don't think that's the most embarrassing moment, but a lot of Jets fans do.
It's not close. If it didn't happen on Thanksgiving on national TV, it never would have endured the way that it did. Brett Favre and Jen Sturger. That was the girl.
Whatever happened to Jen Sturger anyways?
She married this guy like Cody Decker, who's some guy that nobody ever heard of. He goes on Carton and Roberts once in a while, but she got married. So hey.
Oh, look at Joe Boone. Remember this one? The assistant coach. He was our strength coach.
Wasn't that the wall of coaches? Didn't we have a wall of coaches? Wasn't that part of the deal? They would all stand together and then. Yeah, I remember. I don't know. Maybe I made it up. I don't know.
Yeah, I was just the wall of coaches.
I was delusional.
Yeah. Scuttle, the Mark Sanchez hot dog. See, I had no issue with the hot dog situation whatsoever. He was eating on the sideline. I had no issue with that at all.
I know it, but it's just one of those things. Like, I feel the same way. Like what you said. What's the big deal? But the truth is that it happened to the Jets. Like, no other quarterback has done that. You know what I mean? Like, so here and why us? Like, when it happens to us, it just it's just one more thing to stack on. Now, if that was Tom Brady, and it would just be like, he's hungry,
It'd be like it's
Lamar
probably
Jackson.
a vegan dog and now he's going to have his
Yeah.
avocado ice cream or whatever the hell he eats.
Remember when Lamar Jackson had to run off the field to use the bathroom?
Oh my God. Oh yeah.
Remember?
That. Yeah. Oh. My
So
gosh.
Iowa Jets fan says the fact that you can actually fill 4 or 5 polls worth of embarrassing moments is really saying something. It is. And that's why we're trying to get it so we can figure out what this is, and then we can hold it there. And now from here, step on top of this and move forward into a bright future. This shit's got to be put in the past. That's what we got to do.
Do I need to go into the whole alignment with the universe thing? There's a reason why these things happen to us, because we're out of alignment with the laws of the universe.
Totally. Go into it.
Well, there are laws in the universe. It's called as above, so below.
There you go.
Everything must be in alignment. So if you name your team the Jets, you don't then say, okay, they're going to have green colors and a logo that has nothing to do with the Jets and nicknames that have nothing to do with flying. We should have colors that are jet colors, logo that has a jet-ish thing to it, and then our play style, our defense should be the no-fly zone, and the offense should be the take-flight offense. And then we're in alignment with the universe, and everything will start going our way. Very simple.
And by the way, actually, with these polls, you could actually do one side of the bracket be like moments, and the other half be just draft picks, just draft pick busts.
I know.
You could go through a whole list. Kyle Wilson versus Christian Hackenberg. Go head to head.
Yeah, right. What was the worst pick? That's a good idea, actually. I might just do that. That's a good one. But yeah, so people are saying I think so far, the 2 polls that have been completed, the butt fumble won one, and the Adam Gase press conference won another. I could check and see which. I think I had this. Yeah, it's interesting though, man, because I'm telling you, it's weird. A lot of fans, they don't really feel that. Like I look at the fake spike as significantly more, more impactful and than the butt fumble. But the butt fumble reigns supreme. It's like people got affected by that. It's interesting.
The Rich Kotite press conference, where his opening press conference. I'm not a genius. I don't have all the answers.
Oh,
actually,
glad we hired you. Did you say that on your interview, Richie?
That's what he said in his opening press conference.
Jesus Christ. How did he get the job? I'm a moron.
What was the other
Please
candidate
hire
like?
me.
That's what I want to know.
What was the Jesus.
So, all right, here's this one that's up right now. I have just under 300 votes on there. The choices are passing on a quarterback for Jamal Adams, passing Marino for O'Brien, the Rex foot fetish vids, and firing Carroll for Rich Kotite. So right now, the Marino over O'Brien has had a recent surge to 47%. That wasn't winning when I checked before. So so that's the Rex foot fetish thing only has 14%. I think people just washed that from their brain. They don't even think it was real. That was real. That happened. That was Rex. I don't know if you guys remember the videos.
I remember the videos.
Oh yeah, it was his voice. It was his voice. It was his
That
voice.
was his wife. That was
his wife.
And he's a weirdo.
And he has the picture.
Feet.
He has the picture of his wife's feet on his desk.
Ugh.
It's crazy. I mean, look, you're allowed to like whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, but just keep it out of the workplace, please.
Yeah, can we not have to talk about this?
At least it wasn't like a Mets situation where like Kevin Plawecki, the backup catcher, got caught with a dildo in his locker.
Oh my God, that sounds fun. Like, why? Why is it here?
Why are you bringing this to the locker room, sir?
Right, exactly. Melvin says Rex's tattoo of Sanchez. Remember that one? They took a picture of him at the beach. And it was like
did he cover it up? Yeah, I think it got colored a little bit when he went to Buffalo.
He made it blue.
Yeah, made it blue.
Yeah.
It's crazy. All right. Well, so Y2K stumped us again. I mean, we were digging it out. We got some good answers, but the overall question we have failed. So his streak is really just continuing to increase here, guys. I thought we would do better with this trivia thing, but not the case. Y2K doing a great job. So we're going to wrap this one up. I want to bring on Jeremy so he can say hello to everybody. You ready, Jeremy? Good. So let's say to Jeremy, Jets Chaos himself right there. If you guys don't know, he's in the back kind of running the back end, making sure I don't miss stuff and giving me smoke signals and all kinds of stuff. So I really do appreciate what Jeremy contributes to the show. And thank you, man. So, Jeremy, why don't you start? What do you got going on? We'll do a little round table, let everybody know what's happening. What do you got, buddy?
We're just got a show on Sunday. I'm going to do a unveiling of my new tattoo, my first tattoo. So I'm gonna unveil that on Sunday. So that would be cool. Hopefully, Dom.
Does it have a hot chili?
No, it's just related. It's just related.
I texted him earlier. I said, "Is it James Hasty's face?"
There you go.
Burning Golston.
I will say that Jeremy asked me my thoughts on a tattoo. I said, "Wait 1 month. If you still want to get it, then get it. If you, sometimes." And he didn't listen, so he went and got it anyway.
This has been a long time. My wife is getting one too. We've been talking about it for a long time. So,
did your wife get one?
She's getting hers in about a week. I think on the 7th or 8th of July. She's getting hers. But anyway, I'm going to unveil it on Sunday. I can't show it now anyway because it's all I just got it done literally 3 hours ago. So it's like you can't really see it. It's like you have to watch tomorrow. I have to wash it and then.
But wait a minute. What about Mrs. Jeremy? Is she getting a tattoo of Jeremy's face?
No.
What? Why not? What's going on here?
Oh, come on, man. I don't even like looking in the mirror every day.
That would be disturbing. You'd be looking at yourself
eating hot sauce. It should be.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Oh, man. There goes my ability to sleep tonight.
You got it on your bicep? Is that what you did?
Yeah. I got it on right under here.
Nice. You went old school.
Related.
Went right to it. Well, good. Congratulations. Jet Chaos, everybody, or Jets Chaos. You can find him there. He's got numerous shows. And Sunday night, check in for the unveiling of the lifelong wait for his first tattoo will come to a conclusion this Sunday night. Y2K, what do you got, buddy?
Please check out my channel, NY Sports Wicker Media. We talk primarily right now. It's Mets and Jets. That's where most of my content is right now. Did a little Knicks content. Still doing a little bit of Rangers right now. But, whatever's in the news, we'll take a few minutes. We'll talk about it. Broadcasted live from the infamous Wicker chair. And I know B2B just subscribed, so I thank you for that. But like I said, I'm having a great time doing this stuff. And hey, check Jeremy and I out Wednesday night, typically 10 p.m. on the Jets Chaos channel. After last night, if you watched, you never know what's going to happen on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, including puppeteering, apparently.
Those who know, know. Those who don't know, check it out after the show.
There you go. Frankie, what do you got, my friend?
Frankie from Flatbush Channel. Similar to Ryan, I'm on a little bit of a hiatus at the moment, but we'll be returning after the holiday, after the July 4th holiday with all new content. Coffee with Frankie is the live show on Saturday mornings. And I'll be doing my normal Tuesday news day and other normal type videos after that.
There you go. So check out all these guys. They have links in the description of this video. If you want to just take the easy route to all of their pages, you can do it that way. And I will thank you guys for being here. This was the first thing I've done since last Thursday. I got my ass kicked with sickness this week. I'm still not 100%, but I'm glad I got this one under my belt because I was missing it. It feels like a year since I've done anything. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy you guys were with us. Don't forget about the Jetsfan, the Iowan Jetsfan Fund. We are trying to get him to the opener, and then we'll continue and try to get as many Jets fans to the game as we can. You can donate anything you want, and any amount would be appreciated. So, guys, that was it. Thank you all for being here. We will see you next time. Hopefully, I'll be a little bit better, but have a great night, everybody.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, man. I want to kiss you.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah. You want to run or you want to duck down? You want to duck, just go over and get onto the bench and stay there.
You play to win the game.
My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets, Jets, Jets.